And we're live now. Hopefully, yeah, audio's coming through.
Hey!
And
Hey.
time to balance audio because I couldn't. I was a bit late because I was watching Loki. So
Oh, yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's, I guess, forgivable.
it was a good episode, okay? And I didn't want to spoil. I didn't want to get spoiled. But it was 40 minutes instead of 30 minutes. So, but
I
hi
haven't
Yeah.
everybody.
watched I haven't watched any Loki yet, so I'm
I
waiting
will.
until it's all out and then
I
I'll
will
watch it.
keep my mouth shut. I will not spoil
An
I don't
extra
care.
things.
an extra 10 minutes of Tom Hiddleston for all you lovelies out there.
Hell yeah. There's always time for Tom. Okay. So
Welcome to
yeah.
Table Flip.
The
Whoa.
first episode of Table Flip,
Whoa!
which is currently an up in the air on what it is, but it's basically just gonna be tutorials talking about stuff. We don't even know what it is, but it's here.
Well, yeah, we had some
We're
questions during
conceptualizing it.
our Meet the Players segment about how do you D&D. So that's what we're doing. We're here to inform you.
Yeah, gonna teach you the basics of the character sheet. And today we've got me, Megan, who plays Sonia in the main series. We got James, who plays Sabrak.
Ooh.
And we got Barrie, the DM, who plays everyone else. And we have Ella in the background.
Hola.
So, to the chat, if you guys got questions as we're doing this, feel free to ask them. This is instead of the usual you could Google a YouTube video on how to make a character sheet, but the difference is here you can ask us things and we will answer in real time to the best of our ability. So
Yes.
that is our reason for doing this instead of don't we need the views, don't go to a YouTube video.
Well, come on. You got some awesome people here who have spent, whether it's a short period of time of D&D or even a longer period of time, regardless of the edition, that, hey, we'd like to share that passion with you, and this is just one way of how to do it.
Hell yeah. So you got the character mancer. So we're doing this through Roll20 rather than a live camera on a real life paper character sheet, because this is a lot cleaner and you guys will be able to read the text instead of reading my writing. Uh,
Also, it's healthier for the environment. Well,
yes,
maybe not.
kind
I
of.
don't know.
Healthier for the trees. Maybe not whatever
Yes.
we're using for electricity in the area that you're in. I, for one, this
Petrified
entire
trees.
stream is run by a hamster on a running wheel, so this is very economically friendly.
Biofuel.
Environmentally, maybe not economically. Words that start with E. So, for the
There you
sake of teaching people what things do, Character Mancer does, well, to an extent, fill things in automatically as you fill it in the steps. So we're gonna do edit sheet directly. Hopefully the crop gets everything in. I'll zoom in a bit.
go. Looks pretty good there.
Da-da-da. So we're gonna be making Cool Guy McGee.
Heckin' yeah.
Unless people want a different name, we can change that at any time. Because same in
Oh,
real life. Until you start playing that character, they can be whatever you want them to be, and even then, you can change the name as you're playing. It's the joys of
exactly.
D&D.
Exactly. You can. I think the biggest thing when it comes to D&D is just you're only limited by your imagination. And you know what? Sometimes just even talking it out with your dungeon master or other players can make your character even better.
Exactly. So, step one of a character sheet: get a character sheet.
This is a basic character sheet.
Yep, we got. Oh, that's the wrong zoom. I'm gonna just so that I know I'm gonna do that the entire time if I don't do that. There we go. So yeah, this here's the character sheet. It's got everything we need. There's a lot of stuff on here. We will get through all of it. Don't worry.
Do it by a step-by-step process. So don't be, daunted just yet. We'll be able to hold your hand. Well, in a digital sense, if you're into that. So
Now I will come to your house with a mask and social distance. Hold your hand with one of those distance grabby thingies.
Oh, yes. Perfection.
Okie dokie. Oh, you don't need my Discord. That's the thing. If you, for the people in the chat that are watching that are part of the group and are players in the game, I won't be able to open Discord. If you need to tell me something, just say it in the chat. Because
Yeah, if you're
otherwise, the
capable of
entire
joining us from the
internet's gonna
chat.
see our Discord. I'm doing a window a display capture instead of a window capture today.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna turn on a fan because it's humid and hot here.
Oh, yes. But yeah, since we got that character sheet up and running, I guess, shall we start the reins of taking a look at what we get at the top and then work our way down, or how do we want to do this?
Well, first thing you're going to need is an idea.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right? We
So
got cool guy McGee. So what do we want him to be? Like, so the player's handbook has a few race options as well as class options. So it helps to think about what you want to do first. Um,
So I got some set up just in case, but if there are people in the chat who want us to do a specific kind of build, we're gonna do level 1 just to keep it simple, but this is for you guys to learn. So if you're like, wow, I really wanted to play a sorcerer, how the heck do you do a sorcerer sheet? Just tell us. I've never made one, so I don't know. But he's cool, so a tiefling. Let me just close my human race tab here and get
yeah,
the
so
tiefling.
for the basic races that are offered in the player's handbook, we've got dwarf, we've got elf. Of course, these are all broken down into further groups depending.
Mhm.
We also have halflings, the normal, boring humans.
Oh, but sometimes, humans can be
They're
cool too,
really good if you rolled badly and you want just an extra little 1 boost to everything, though.
But I'm playing in a
Well,
fantasy
yeah.
realm. I want to play something cool.
Humans can
But
be
if
cool.
you're human in a fantasy realm, you stand out like a sore thumb at times.
That could be true. There's also dragonborn, which are like half dragon people, gnomes,
Yep.
and then there's half elves, half orcs, tieflings, aforementioned. I think that's it for
I
the
think your
basic.
cat's trying to remind you that tabaxis exist.
Taxis exist, but not in the player's handbook. They are in Volo's Guide to Monsters,
Yes.
which is a supplement.
Correct.
Yeah. So I have literally 2 DMs talking right now who have access to pretty much every book. But for the sake of not having to type things out, I'm also going to be. You guys get to see my web browser. I will be Googling and using either D&D Beyond or the wonderful 5th edition wiki that usually have everything, so that way I can just copy and paste what we need. And you guys don't have to sit here for hours as I type things out and misspell every second thing. As ever has shown when I accidentally spelled tieflunk earlier. I think it was tieflig.
Yeah, it's close enough.
So, the chat was saying tiefling because tieflings are cool, so let's put tiefling up here in the top. So, the top of your character sheet, in Roll20 at least, it's got 2 different menus. You got your class, your subclass, which is usually at level 3. Subrace if you got one. Tiefling does have subraces, but we will keep it simple for now and not do a subrace. You got that,
Yep.
and what your level is, which will be staying at 1 for now. And if you click that, you also got your class will show up again. You got your background, race again, your alignment, and experience points if your campaign does that.
Yes, there are times when EXP or milestones will occur,
Yeah.
but that's depending upon the campaign that you would play.
Absolutely. So, James, what do we have for classes? Bring it on down.
Oh,
Showcase Showdown.
oh man, we have a lot of classes you can pick from in terms of just the player's handbook alone. You have very stereotypical fantasy tropes. We have our barbarian, who is a fierce warrior who uses inner rage in order to strike down their foes or protect their friends. You have the classical bard, so very similar if you played Bard's Tale. You have your ability to inspire individuals with your song or, let's say, your dance. very much well a magical actor in that way for folks. Clerics, you could see them in all walks of life. They have a divine connection, whether they be healers or war priests. Clerics can be quite versatile. In terms of nature, we have druids, so they can wild shape and have and interesting connections to that of the natural world around them. You have the sword and board, javelin throwing, bow wielding, mace clubbing fighters. So they can be basically the Swiss Army knife, being tanks, DPS, and everything else there. Monks, masters with the fist and martial arts. Paladins, holy warriors. So you have kind of a mix between a cleric and a fighter for those. Rangers, so you take more of druid and fighter and mix it together. In older editions, rangers could have animal companions that you could have also bolster up your roster of abilities. We have rogues, which can be, your standard pickpockets, assassins. They can be. They're very good with skills and tools of deception. Sorcerers and wizards and warlocks are probably some of the more iconic magic classes that you would see in a fantasy setting. Sorcerers, they will gain their magic casting from an innate ability to do it. Wizards have to learn from a spell book, and warlocks, they basically pledge allegiance to an otherworldly patron or a deity to gain access to their magical abilities. So even with that alone, when we're starting at level 1, there's a lot that you can choose from. And it kind of goes back to what we had mentioned before of having like a general idea of what you would like to do in the game. All these classes, you certainly can't just be limited to like saying, oh, well, I'm a barbarian, so I'm just going to punch rocks or something. Not necessarily. A barbarian can do a lot of other stuff, such as a cleric or a rogue. So there's a lot of versatility even when it comes to the player's handbook. Some of you who might be actively looking out D&D, you might see some homebrew classes or even stuff that has been basically, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Made official by the Wizards of the Coast, such as Matt Mercer's Blood Hunter, in that sort of way there too. So if you're just starting to get your feet wet a little bit, definitely even taking a look at like, ooh, what really stands out to you? Like we see here in the chat, we've got Lunk, the Tiefling Bard. That could be a great way to start off your character of having a race and a class set up, and then you can see how it all interconnects and weaves as you're making your character.
Yeah. Also, I apologize for the weirdness of the window earlier. I was trying to resize it and it decided not to let go.
It was determined.
Yes. So, we have many to choose from. If people don't have any other preferences, we will go with Elio the Twink's suggestion of Bard. But we'll give you a second chat if there's anything else you would like us to potentially
Just
do.
give it a little bit of time.
I know, I personally, I like the sneakies, so like the rogues and maybe more agile fighters and things like that. I have one friend who does nothing but big strong paladin and barbs. Though I think he did a cleric I saw him do once, who was still big strong, but big strong cleric.
Mm. And of course, it's like with every other like tabletop role-playing game, um, not to certain limit yourself to just one class, but later on, if you want to, and depending upon how your story plays, you might be able to multi-class as well. And if people are interested in that, we can certainly, you know, do a dovetail into a certain section there. But don't feel like you are limited to just a single class for your character. If there is the opportunity and your DM and you want to talk that out to sort of see how it would feel to have, let's say, a multi-class rogue and bard combination, you're more than welcome to do that.
Let's admit, most bards are played as multi-class rogues.
Yeah, they
Even if
just don't
not
make
in
it official.
name. They're not in name, but they go sneaky, go behind your back, stab you.
So
I know
Bard on
that
the streets, Rogue in the sheets.
Rogue usually gets a multi-class with Warlock a lot too.
Yeah. That's what you did that to me once. I didn't even pick.
Ooh, a sorcerer.
Devin, you know I've never played sorcerer. Okay, so if we do sorcerer, I definitely am gonna need your help, Barrie and James, because I've never done a sorcerer sheet. But
That's okay.
let's do sorcerer then. So a tiefling sorcerer. Oh, I could have had this open while you were naming them all. See, here's all the stuff alphabetically.
We're
Yes.
professional.
So we're gonna go.
Magic.
It's been a while. I always
Resistance.
go it through manually. So.
Mm-hmm.
So, you might have noticed when I put sorcerer, these little things just suddenly popped up. So even when you're
Yes.
doing manually and like putting it in all typey, Roll20 will automatically do some things for you, such as the proficiency bonus and your saving throws here. So each of the classes that are listed here get bonuses to certain things, which I'm now going to switch this to. Where's sorcerer? Where are you hiding? There you are.
So sorcerer is page 100 in the player's handbook, but Megan's referenced a bunch of things. For the sorcerer quick build, we've got you're going to want to be charisma because your spellcasting is charisma based. It should be your highest ability score. Actually, we should roll ability scores first, really.
Yeah, I was gonna get to
Yes.
that.
So
But
get out your math
before
rocks,
we do
people.
that, yeah, it's gonna automatically. Now it's time to roll dice. You can use the
Yes.
clicky clackies in real life and send them to jail. Because they never roll how you want them to, or if you are using Roll20 like we are currently, they have this nice little thing over here. If you click that, you get a dice roller. So, Barrie or
Yes.
James, I guess Barrie, would you like to explain the different ways you can get your stats here?
For sure. So, one of the ways mentioned in the book is you take 4 d6s. So, if you just go roll 4 d6s, Megan.
Oh, beautiful start.
And just so that way, if people might be a little bit confused when we're referencing like D6 or D20, we're talking about if you have a dice set, which go to your local hobby store and you can grab these pretty cheaply there. A D6 is a 6-sided dice, so normally what you'd see for board games and everything else. And they have like D4s, D8s, D10s, D12s, and a D20.
Why can't I roll this well on my actual character?
So you're gonna roll those 4 d6s, like 6 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
And basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the lowest one from each of those, and you're gonna discard it.
So it's actually gonna be
to get a number around just under 18 and below.
So we'll get rid of the 1, get rid of the 4, get rid of the 3, get rid of the 3, and yeah, I'll type all the new values at the bottom so we have them all and we don't have to keep doing this math every time. So that would be 16. I'm crying because I rolled for a backup character a few days ago and I had like 90% ones. This is killing me.
That's a lot of 6s.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17? For reference to those of you who are new to the game, the average, like a stat of just a normal everyday, like, dude is 10. So our 9 will be a little below average, but all of these other ones, this is cool guy McLunk the Third is gonna be very skillful.
This throwaway character we have just rolled is too powerful.
That must be contained within this realm. We cannot allow it to exist on the tabletop.
It's 3 17s! Oh my god!
And an 18.
Wow. That's a pretty impressive right there.
Yep, so
Normally when
I'll
I've
just
rolled
hit
stats,
enter,
it's like,
so.
okay, I got one good one, and then all the rest are like maybe 11 or and lower.
So yeah, that is option 1. I believe there's 2 other options, if I remember correctly, for how to get your stats, though.
Correct. So the other one that I like to do is I like to take 3d6 and roll them 3 times, and then from those 3 you take the best value. and then you do that for as many stats as you have. Mostly because I just like to roll dice.
Mm. Yep. You also have something that is called basically a standard array. So rather than in case if you don't want to be rolling dice too often, you can just take a set value of stats that they give you in the player's handbook of 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. And then you'd assign them to the 6 different attribute stats that are on your character sheet then.
And I was
Okay.
adjusting things, so if Barry already said that like 2 seconds ago, I apologize. But I know some DMs also just do it through roleplay based, where it's, hey, this character would be dexterous, so let's just, like, this is, your DM would have to know how to properly balance this.
Correct.
But it'd be like, yeah, my character would be smart because they went to school, so let's give them a higher intelligence. Like, as long as you aren't starting the game with like all 20s, which you can if you rolled that.
Yes.
But I guess you'd only be able to start with 18 if you were using this method. But
18 is the highest you are able to get right off the bat.
yeah, without any of the
Because you also
modifiers.
have ability modifiers based on like racial traits and stuff.
Yeah.
So as mentioned by Hazel, as Killian, thank you.
Azkalan.
Yeah, it's Colon. If you look at the Tiefling page, it actually has traits to give you an idea how the character, the race kind of flows. And with that, you have, you can actually just make a mark there on the little numbers side there. So your intelligence score is increased by 1, and your charisma is increased by 2.
So where am I putting this?
So yeah.
Well, I know I'm putting it over here, but I mean, like, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. So intelligence by 1, so we just have. Oh, yeah, there we go. And by 2. But yeah, now we gotta figure out where we're putting these. So that's earlier. Barry was talking about the quick build and how charisma and such should be our highest. So charisma and
Correct, yeah,
constitution.
so it goes charisma first because you're a charisma caster. Constitution because that'll determine your health, the amount of HP you have, and having lots of ouch points makes you last longer.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess before we put the numbers in, for all you new players out there, so these are your base stats, like we said. Strength, how strong you are, lifting things up, physical feats. Dex is your your dexterity. Are you sneaky? Are you good at acrobatics? Are you good at dodging things? It's how quick are your reflexes? How quick are you on your feet? Constitution, as Barry said, determines your health, like your HP. It's good for if you don't want your character to get drunk. So it's good for resisting things such as poisons and alcohols and such. Intelligence is book smarts. Like, what do you know about history? What do you know about religion? Actually, I think religion specifically is wisdom. But yeah, like, what do you know about book smarts? Wisdom is more like street smarts, being able to read people, again, knowing about nature and religions and such. And charisma is your personality. Are you good at convincing people, deceiving people? Do you perform well? And that is what these all mean. And now we get to put these numbers that we rolled into these, and they will determine a whole lot of stuff on the rest of the sheet. That is why we start here once we have our idea for a character.
Exactly.
We're going to put our wonderful
And so,
18.
The numbers also equate to get you modifiers. See, I don't know if you noticed when Megan put the 2 into the 10 there for the charisma, it made it +1. So that is what you add to your D20 roll when you're rolling something for it. Now, I think, how do you get that number again? It's
however long you are, so how much you are over 10 divided by 2.
Yes.
There you go.
So, for example, I put
minus 10 divided by 2.
Yeah, so I put in 18 at first because that is what we rolled, and we want that highest one here. So 18 is 8 over 10. You divide that 8 by 2, and you get your modifier of 4. But because we chose Tiefling, we also get a +2 to this because of our tiefling heritage. So we are starting at max charisma.
Yes. And one thing to note with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons is that when you're making your character first off the bat, 20 is the highest that your attribute score can be. However, if you do get magical items, it can go higher than that, though.
Correct.
So our constitution, I'll put the second 17 in there, and so that's the default for the sorcerer. We've got these two numbers high, so we're good for that. The rest of this, I'm gonna let y'all decide if he's a more strong, or if they, I guess we haven't actually given a gender to this cool guy McGee person.
So I'm thinking intelligence should be our lowest.
Intelligence will be our,
Okay.
well, it'll be at
They
10.
strike me as a thick boy,
Yeah.
a thick girl.
I guess, yeah.
Just-
Chat, let's vote. Are we doing girl, guy, non-beanie? What's up with this? Who's cool guy McLunk the Third? I know they say that's cool guy, but that's more just a title. Like, hey, what's up, dudes? So,
My dudes.
So don't forget the intelligence is actually 11.
I put our 9 in there if that's our lowest.
Oh, right, yeah. So 9 plus 1 gives us 10. Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
Non-beanie? So let's,
All right.
we'll do cool person then.
Yep,
There you
two-
Cool person
two
McLunk the
non-beanies.
Third. Let's do cool beanie. Cool
Cool beanie.
cool non-bean
Cool person.
bean McLunk the oh we can't fit anymore. McLunk Third. It's just cool non-bean McLunk 3. There we go.
Well, how about you just shorten Mac to see MC and then you just put third at the end of it. There you go.
Mm.
There we go. Cool non-bean McLunk Third.
There you go. I like it. I love it when a
Oh,
plan comes
actually,
together.
hold on. We could also just if you said you want just lunk, we'll do. And I'm gonna keep the third in there. We got the NB right here. There we go.
Love it.
So lump the third. He said so. We got they're kind of I guess average intelligence if we got up to 10.
Mhm. Yep.
Are they strong or dexterous? Not that it really matters at this point because all the numbers are more or less the same.
Well, might as well throw in that. You know, we got what, some more 17s kicking around.
Yeah, we
is
have
that
two
right?
17s left and one 16. So the chat has
Alright.
voted for a strong.
All right, let's go for that strength.
And then we'll just do this. If we're doing more strong than dex. Not that it matters, because if it's an odd number, that half will round down. So it won't go
Yes.
up again until we reach 18. Which there are chances later on to increase these numbers at levels 4, 8, and 12, I think?
Yes, that is correct.
4, 8, 12, 16. Every 4 levels, basically.
I've only ever gotten to
Every 4
16
levels.
once, so I didn't remember. Alright, so now we got these numbers. We've got numbers, we got our concept of Lunk the Third,
Yes, we've explained how you get modifiers, yeah.
so we got Lunk the Third,
However,
a strong
we can-
boy, it's a strong person, my apologies. So a strong
Yes.
person who's probably kind of went, they graduated high school but didn't go any farther than that. But they're
It's okay,
very
they-
charismatic. So at school they could fake it till they make it.
Well, also I would say our tiefling sorcerer also is quite streetwise. So
Yes.
not needing to be dabbling in the books, but learn to live how, reading people, sort of basically making sure they don't fall into any traps that might
So,
be set by.
Megan there. Just so you know, we also have our speed for our character, which is blank there, listed under the racial traits.
Yeah. Here, we'll do the race stuff first because that's gonna. So
Yeah.
we already did. So I'm using.
Spell jock, yeah.
Yeah. For those of you that came in later, we have the books, but for the sake of me copying and pasting, I'm using websites such as the wonderful D&D 5e Wikidot for people like me who don't want to flip through pages all the time.
Also, I think on Roll20 there's actually a little search function for you to find this information as well.
Under somewhere. This is my first time in the DM version of it, so it's in
Okay.
here somewhere. I'll let Barry host something later, maybe.
Is
There
the
you go.
eye there
Boop.
over the chat bar? It's the blue, this, whatever. Never mind.
Classes? No, I don't need classes. Why am
And then you can
I
just
need
type in the search
glasses
bar and it'll tell you.
apparently.
Yep. A handy little dandy filter system there.
Hey, hey. There we go. I'm gonna close this then.
Bada boom, bada bing.
I wish I had known that before, but I didn't prepare.
It's okay. Hey, it's a learning. You can also make that its own window by clicking the little 2 window icon in the top left corner of that.
Just trying to make it bigger, but it doesn't like it, as you saw with the crazy chat earlier.
Yes.
Actually, hold on though. You can't zoom when you do that without zooming your entire browser. So I'm gonna just do that, and oh, you can't zoom on these ones either. Never mind.
No.
So I'm gonna just, if it's too small, let me know. But this is mostly for me copying, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
with that in mind, with anything with Roll20, if you are trying to find online games, or let's say this is your first time doing it, if you are a player and you are being having a game hosted for you, the DM can always link you access to those resources that we would be able to see what we have currently on the screen at the moment. Or if you want to purchase those online assets in order to look at that stuff, that's another way you can gain access to goods. Or, as what Megan was doing, just quickly browsing online on D&D Beyond. So that way you can always take a look at your own time to sort of see what else is all in that handbook for you.
my mouse just doesn't like to let go of these windows. There we go. So, now that that's in order, so we've already done our ability score. So it says the intelligence increased by 1, and our charisma increased by 2. So age, they tell you what rate different species age at, because different species live longer than each other, mature at different times, and that will be stated under the information of whatever species you're doing. So tieflings are more or less the same as humans, but tend to live a little longer. Your alignment, we'll get to that later on, because that doesn't really affect any of our other stuff. So that's usually done towards the end, at least when I do character sheets. The size, we are medium. I'm pretty sure until recently all the playable races were medium.
Yes, some of the smaller races like halflings and gnomes, they would be considered small for their size profile. But for the most part of the standard player's handbook, they are medium. And in further, well, other releases beyond that, like Volo's Guide and other supplements there to the D&D 5th edition tabletop game, then you could be a large creature.
Yes. And this is why we came in here in the first place, is the walking speed that Barrie was talking about. So, tieflings have the average walking speed of 30 feet, which goes in this nice little thing here, this nice little box right up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So, would one of you like to explain these top 3 boxes here?
Sure, we're looking at the top ones just above hit points then.
Yes.
All right, so with taking a look at the far left there is armor class. So in combat within the Dungeons and Dragons world, your AC is basically your means of either evading attacks or basically blocking them. So currently we have an armor class of 13. So you might ask, well, how do you get to 13? All creatures have a base AC of 10, depending upon size and everything else. And the extra 3 comes from the dexterity modifier, which, as we talked about before, over on the left-hand side of your dex attribute, it'd be 16, so you minus that by 10, divide by 2, you get plus 3 to that section you see there for your armor class. Which also, dexterity modifiers will play a part in your initiative score. So whenever combat takes place in the game, Players will be rolling the 20-sided dice and adding whatever their initiative modifier is. So, such as this case with Flunk, whenever their player would be rolling for initiative, it'd be at a d20 plus 3 to see what will be going on. And in terms of speed and that modifier there, it actually is how many squares you can move on the grid. So in most cases for a D&D game, it's a grid-like map where each square represents 5 feet. So if you have a land speed of 30 feet, you'd be able to move 6 spaces to wherever you want to go on the game map. And of course, other races might have lower speed scores, such as dwarves, that they move at 25 feet, or you might have other racial abilities that can say you'll move faster, whether that might be thanks to a monk's ability, I think they have increased land speed, or it's a racial ability that you have.
Tabaxi.
Yeah, Tabaxis I think get 35.
The Tabaxi monk is just frightening. 'cause he can go
Yeah, I was helping my friend make a monk character sheet for a few days ago, and I'd never done a monk sheet. And he ended up with 45 feet of movement, and I was just like, oh
Yeah.
my god. And he wasn't even a tabaxi, so I can't imagine. But,
Oh, they gone.
yeah. Yeah, so that's what these numbers are. Also, the reason it's dex for armor class is if you aren't wearing any armor, that kind of just equates to you dodged out of the way. Which, like we said, dex
Exactly.
is how quick are you on your feet. Like, what are your reflexes like?
Yep.
So that is these numbers here, and let's while we're up in the area here, let's just explain this general corner. So inspiration. Inspiration is a wonderful thing that basically the DM can go, I liked that. Here, I will give you a gift of getting to re-roll once. For example, in when Barrie's games, if we make good puns, he tends to give us inspiration. Uh, and then you either have it or you don't. Sometimes some DMs let you have multiple inspirations at once, though this only lets you kind of put it either yes or no. And yeah, so if you have inspiration and you roll like a really, really bad roll, you could be like, I'd like to use my inspiration to redo that. Yes, inspiration equals wondrous moments. And
Mm-hmm.
it's, yes, the DM just goes, hey, that was cool, here's a little gift. And you can also give it to other, like, well, if you have it, you can give your inspiration to someone else.
Yes.
And I got proficiency bonus. Barrie, what is proficiency bonus?
stand by one.
Oh. Alright, James, what is proficiency bonus?
Proficiency bonus. Ah, I'm glad that you asked. The proficiency bonus is just a nice static bonus that you get for your character and will increase as you progress through the game. So you might notice that down below the proficiency bonus, sort of where we have these saving throws, that you see two that are check marked. These proficiency bonuses help to make those rolls better than usual. So since we have Lunk the Sorcerer, they have proficiency based on their class for Constitution saving throws and Charisma saving throws. So where we have the modifiers for our ability scores on the left-hand side of the screen, you'd add your proficiency bonus to those particular areas you're proficient in, making you even more resilient in, let's say, making a constitution save, or let's say you need to perform a charisma-based save, you're even better off with that then.
Also, yes, as Kalan or I'm just gonna start making the worst pronunciations of people's names on purpose, so you guys can't tell if I'm doing it wrong. So as Kellyup, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
If you screw up as a bard, you get to use inspiration to try again, which I'm sure many people
Absolutely.
in the real world would love to do that. Messed up the
Oh,
first
I would be
date?
up with that.
Hey, here's another go at it. But yeah,
Have another try. So for proficiency, there's actually a table for every class. That tells you when you upgrade your proficiency bonus. So you start with a +2 proficiency bonus until about we get to the 5th level, and it goes to +3. At 9th level goes to +4. 13th level +5. 17th level +6. And +6 is the highest proficiency bonus you can get.
there we go. So right here, as Barry just said, I'm a burp. Okay, so proficiency bonus, and you see as you go down, the number gets up higher and higher. Okay, it's not gonna let me do just that one thing for highlighting. Yeah.
Oh no, it's gonna be the full table.
Yeah, this table, we'll get into this later on, but like, it will help guide you for. You're like, oh no, I leveled up. What the heck does that mean? It means this. It means you're now using this, and it will tell you. So don't be afraid.
Yeah, it's very handy to have those resources to sort of say, okay, my character has advanced in the story. What new perks and benefits and goodies do I get? It's a very nice way of how to say, oh, well, I get this, I get that.
Yeah, banish sorcerer down to the corner for a second. We don't need that yet.
To the shadow realm.
But yeah, so saving throws, just default, use your modifier, excluding the ones that you're proficient in. So for us, it was con and charisma, and then you just add your bonus to it. Roll20 when you fill this in. Like, say, I was like, you know what? Screw it. Oh, it won't let me. Never mind. I was gonna just
since
change
we're at
that
level 1.
number. Let's just temporarily change this to like level 6. So it changed up to 3, and you can see that these two numbers went up because the proficiency bonus went up, but the others stayed the same because we're not proficient in that.
Exactly.
Get that back to level 1.
You.
Now, what are hit points? Barrie, you can answer this one because you disappeared before.
Hit points is how many times you can get hit.
That's it. We're done.
That's it. We're done. Log off. Okay.
Thanks for tuning in.
Underneath class features in the player's handbook or on the little page there that you have, Megan, it'll actually tell you
the one that
how
I
to get
just
your
said
hit
we
points.
don't need.
You just banished to the Phantom Zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it'll tell you that at level 1, your hit point is 6 plus your Constitution modifier.
Okay. Hit point. Mouse. I need a new mouse. Something's going on with this boy.
All right, everyone, donate, do the spirit bomb of cash towards Megan so she can get a better mouse.
But hit points. There we go. This is what I was going for. Right here. So they tell you your hit dice, which we'll get to a second when we get to that box. It's a d6 for sorcerers. At first level, like they just said, 6 plus your con modifier. And then they tell you how to change it when you level up. So for this one, for sorcerers, it will be 1d6 plus your constitution modifier. So when you level up, you just roll a d6 and you add your constitution modifier to that. Or you can just take the average of 4 and then add your constitution to that if you don't want to risk getting a 3 or a 2 or a 1.
Yes.
So our base HP would be 6 plus con. So if it lets me go back, there we go. 6 plus 3, we got 9 squishy little hit points.
Which for a sorcerer is actually not bad for first level.
Yeah. Temporary hit points is basically there are certain spells and effects and potions and etc. etc. There are methods in the game that you can get hit points that are temporary, hence temporary hit points. And you just put those there. So if someone's like, hey, I cast this spell that gives you 5 temporary hit points, you basically get to get rid of these before your actual hit points start going down.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's this corner. Yes, let's explain these two, and then we'll get into the super long segments.
Yes, that we shall.
So James,
So,
what are hit
with-
dice?
All right, so hit dice, as you see on the character sheet, it has in brackets d6. So every time that you are to level up as a sorcerer, as we have a flunk here, you get an extra hit dice worth. So hit dice are effectively what the story put as your character has continued to advance, so they're a little bit more resilient. So at the second level, Lunk would have 2d6. At the third, 3d6, and so on. And of course, if you were to multi-class, you'd have different pools of hit dice, but effectively that is what you have for your entire HP and kind of counts to how far your character has advanced in the world, which Sometimes adventures can be a little bit less than pleasant at times, where you see death saves to the right. Death saves are basically once your character has been knocked out, so if your hit points with Lunk here were to drop to 0 or -1, you'd be unconscious. -1 means you are dying. So in D&D 5th edition, you have the chance to recuperate yourself, or unfortunately, your spirit slips through this mortal coil. So
Sorry, I
when
gotta
you are
interject
dying,
for 1 second because I just had to mute myself because I just saw not Barrie G in the chat. Wow, hi not Barrie G, welcome. Nice to meet you.
yeah, what's
Totally
going
not
on?
me making a second account to get a follow.
I'm gonna follow
Totally.
not Barrie G back because currently, tell your friends right now, Dice Tracers is following back everyone that follows us until we reach 50 followers. So if your
And
friends
that's
also
how
trying to get followers right now, hit us up. If they follow us, I will follow them back as soon as I see it.
exactly. That's how we make sure you succeed on your death saving throws by following you afterwards. Oh yeah, totally legit.
Identity theft is not a joke, Barry. Anyways, though, death saves.
Yes, death saves occur when you're at -1 hit points or lower, and where you basically will take a d20, and when you roll it, if you are to get anywhere, I think it's 11 and up, you have 1 success. If it's a 20 that you roll on that, it's considered 2 successes, and vice versa. If you were to roll lower than that, you have a failure or a nat 1, which is 2 failures. So if you succeed 3 times, you are effectively stable. I mean, you're
You're no
it still
longer
is rough
rolling
shape.
saves, but you are unconscious.
Exactly. Exactly. You would be unconscious, but you are not dying if you unfortunately make 3 failures, because unfortunately the dice giveth and the dice taketh, then your character has passed on. However, that does not necessarily mean that Lunk the Third is no more.
Don't
There
need
are
to throw
means
out the
that your
character
character
sheet yet.
Exactly. There are ways that your character can be brought back to life, whether that is through a quest that the other party members can undertake, or if it's just here is an intervention by the DM that says, okay, this character is not going to die because of some event that happens in the narrative or in the combat, or it's just, you know what, I don't really want to see this character die because I have hundreds of pages written for an epic side quest, so I don't want to throw that out. There are ways that your character can come back to the game.
Don't at me, James. The amount of papers I've made Barry throw out because of my characters dying or retiring. Oh boy.
So many
um,
storylines lost.
Also,
maybe that's another
for
episode for Table Flip.
yeah, that'll be in the discussion ones. Top 10 Megan character deaths. There's enough of them.
True.
Another thing with the death saves and when you're in that unconscious state is if you take damage when you're unconscious, it's an auto fail. That's what got one of my characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is that. And then yeah, obviously you can negate the whole thing with a medicine check successfully stabilizing or a potion or a healing spell, but that is this. We've now completed this nice little gray square in the middle, which is you'll spend most, I guess, the second most amount of time, I would say, with the most being down here where we'll go next. Let's bring Lunk back to life. There we
Yes.
go.
Let's do that. We need the Lunk the Third to continue on their lineage.
So, the next thing is skills. Skills, this is where you spend the, ignore my intelligence, say, oh, hold up, before we do anything, we
Wait a
turn off
second.
advantage, and switch that to advantage toggle. Oh, cool thing that we've done. Yeah, if you TPK, just do like a Wind Waker. Oh no, Link didn't die. He just got thrown in jail again. Don't worry.
Breaking too many plots.
Entirely DM to DM will handle character death and TPKs differently. There's so many different ways to handle them. But like at the most part, just communicate with your DM. If you're like, my character died and I really, really want to keep playing them, like just talk to your DM. Communicate.
No, I'm out for blood. You're all going to die.
Barrie, before
Well, we
every
almost had
game,
that.
chants TPK in the hopes that he'll achieve one, but then gets scared every time we get close to achieving one.
Look, I try to portray this big, fearsome DM thing, but really I'm a marshmallow. I want you guys to have fun. But I have to try and scare you, or
I
else you
have
just
the
know everything's
most
going to be
fun
happy.
when my characters die. Why do you think I keep doing it? I have to tell
Hooray.
myself that or the pain will get me. Okay, skills. This is where we spend the most time in the game. It's, hey, I want to do a backflip over that fence. You do an acrobatics check. You're like, I want to intimidate this dude and get information at him. You're doing an intimidation check. This determines everything. This is equal to the dice.
And then the good thing about that is that, as what Megan was mentioning there, with a lot of these skills, they will influence what as an outcome for that event. So let's say going back to that intimidation check, depending upon how the DM has structured the world, whether it's like a hardened guard that's they've dealt with this before, that may not be enough to get information out from them. But if you were to intimidate, let's say, a street beggar, that would probably be more than enough to at least maybe get some information out from them. So that really will show you the degree of success that your character has in what you want them to do in the game world.
Also, I apologize. It's gonna get wiggy in a second. I'm gonna shrink the page a little bit so we aren't getting that edge of the thing cropped. Oh no, everyone can see my desktop. It's a good thing I cleared it out before. Oh, I forgot the things on the right. Oh no. Okay, they're not in the screen. We're good. You guys don't get to see all my deepest darkest secrets.
Put a blurred line up there.
Not my hentai.
Oh no, Barrie, I get that from Tumblr like everyone else. No. Until they banned it.
It's called hentai, and it's art.
Here, 1 second. What do you think the tie stands for in my name?
Oh!
Tie sup. Okay. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, I'm Tie Clad Gamer on Twitch. You don't need to follow me. I don't stream on my channel. Barrie, no. Get rid of your bows.
They're bow ties.
Oh, I didn't turn my
Oh
nightlight off.
my.
We're gonna go a little red in a second. Actually, I can turn that off right now. Let me just pop settings up in a different on the other side.
Who knew that this conversation would actually be flipping the table?
Turn my nightlight off. I will murder my
I
eyes.
shall be right back.
Don't worry. All right.
Fair enough.
Anyways, that aside, now just move these to adjust to the new size. There we go. Now nothing's getting cropped.
Hooray!
I didn't think of that until
Technology.
now, and I was like, oh yeah, it's a display, not a window, so I can just do that.
It's all good.
Okay, so skills, as we were saying.
Yeah, so you might see that there's quite a bit that is in there. But yeah, depending upon, like, let's say if you're a first-time player to the game, you're sort of saying, well, how would I get some, like, I look around, what do I see? Your dungeon master might say, well, give me a perception check. Or if you're trying to examine something that's maybe more detailed oriented, you go for an investigation. So
Oh,
first time
hey!
player. Yeah, and there is also with nat 20s that if you are to be rolling them, there's usually a great deal of success that is applied to that result. So even if you, let's say you have a nat 0, so a 10 to that ability score and you get a 20, there's usually something gonna could happen.
Which is basically
Likewise, the
what we got.
inverse.
We have a 0 to intelligence, but because we got that 20, that doesn't matter. So basically,
Exactly.
how the skills work, I'm going to interject for a second.
ahead.
So everything in Dungeons and Dragons determined by those wonderful dice that I've accidentally covered up. There we go. In order to do things, you will be rolling a d20 for most ability checks, which is what involves these skills. So you in the real world, you just roll your d20. So it's, hey, I rolled a dice and I got a 15. And say we were doing that investigation check that beforehand. So I rolled a 15, and these numbers at the side here are wonderful modifiers. Apply to the skills as well. So it would be 15 plus. Maybe I shouldn't have done the investigation because it's plus 0. But
Yeah.
but if I was doing, say, an athletics check, it would be that 15 plus 3. Or if it was a religion check, it would be 15 plus 0 again. I thought that was wisdom for some reason, but it's not. It's
We
intelligence.
could say like persuasion, then it'd be 15 plus 5, so then you'd
Yeah.
have something that we might call a dirty 20. So it's not quite a natural 20 on the dice facing side, but it's still high enough.
Yes. Depending on the check. There are obviously going to be checks that involve more than a 20 to succeed.
Correct.
But you won't know that. The DM is the one that knows if we make it or not. But yeah, that is what
Yes, and
these
that
numbers mean. On here as well, they say what stat it takes. So acrobatics takes from your dex. Animal handling is off, but I believe it's wisdom. Arcana, intelligence, athletic strength. Most of these are pretty straightforward on what they mean. I guess insight might be the only one that's a little weird. That's like to get a read on somebody. Like, are they lying? Do they seem like a nice person? Yeah, everything else is more or less exactly what it says. Persuasion, performance, sleight of hand. Are you good at nimble with your fingers?
yes. Can you take away the guard's coin purse without them noticing it?
And you might notice that similar to the saving throws up here, where we have these nice little boxes next to it, and we're proficient in these two. There's also boxes next to these ones, which those are determined by your background and your race, I believe, and some other things. Basically, that there's a lot of things that will give you different skills, and when we're going through and discovering more about who Lunk the Third is, we will fill these out as we go. This is
Exactly.
You could have two people playing the exact same like tiefling sorcerer and end up completely different because maybe they, instead of charisma, they wanted to put it more into dexterity or intelligence, and they ended up choosing completely different skills. So maybe one of the Lunk the Thirds is really good at history and really good at like book stuff, and the other Lunk the Second is really good at like physical like things. This is a lot of what determines what your character is going to be like in the game, excluding personality,
Exactly.
which is this whole corner up here, but we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we'll stick to the middle here, I guess, and we'll just move our
Sure.
way down. So attacks and spellcasting. Which one of you guys wants to take this one?
Well, I believe that other resident GM is AFK at the moment, so I guess that would have to
I
be
just
up
got
to you.
back.
Aha.
Just got
Okay,
back.
he has returned.
So attacks and spellcasting. So attacks would have to do with your weapons and stuff. So actually, we probably shouldn't be doing that. We should be going by the book.
Yeah, I guess we could explain as we go. That also works.
So we're gonna
Sure.
actually want to pick our background first here.
Or I guess, yeah, okay, I have... So I pulled it up on D&D Beyond. I'm in my recently, D&D Beyond decided to glitch and delete my account, so everything that I had access to is now gone. But this is a list
Oh.
of them, and then I will search it up in our wonderful... Actually, hold on. Let's just go into the little thing here that y'all were talking about and just look up backgrounds and see what we got access to
Yep.
here.
So Quick Build recommends that you pick the hermit background, but you know what? You don't have to be a hermit. This is all based on what we think Lunk the Third, your non-binary self, was, or like what their backstory is, right?
Oh my god, there's a lot of... I don't think this is... Hello?
That's the beginning right there that
Backgrounds by
you're,
name?
for the most part. Yeah.
Oh, these are rules.
Test.
Whoopsies. That's probably
Yes.
why. That's... There we go. Haha! So we got
Now we're
so
cooking
many
with fire.
here. We even have 2 sages, guys. we are spoiling you today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Lindsay56, for the follow. Allow me to follow right back.
We
There we
appreciate
go.
all of your support.
That's my mom.
Yay!
Hey, I don't know what we're at now. I'm going through OBS, so I can't see. Is anyone capable of seeing what
I
our
would
follower count is right now?
Let me take a
It
look.
should be at like around 40. So
We are currently sitting at 40 followers. We're only 10 away.
hey, I pulled that number out of my butt, but it was right.
Hey. 10 away from getting that check mark done for affiliate status. That's pretty awesome. So thank you so much for everyone that's tagging in and seeing our wonderful adventures unfold.
I believe we have either 14 or 13 days left on the counter for our 30-day like trial time. I know it technically updates with every single day, but we wanted to try and get it like within the first 30 days. So like tell your friends, if we can reach 50 beforehand, we just speed run affiliate, and that would make me very, very happy, and it would make I speak for everyone, so it would make us very happy.
Mm-hmm. I think it would make you very happy there, Reagan.
Yes.
After all the
So-
work that you put in.
I'm thinking our good Lunk was a sailor.
A sailor. Ooh. I like where
Possibly.
this is going.
Possibly a pirate.
Oh, is there a
Ooh,
separate one? There
pirates.
is. Let me close sailor and do the much cooler pirate.
Yar.
The
'cause it's a
non-beanie
variant.
pirate. If it will let me load. Oh, come on. It should be telling me what pirates get for abilities, but it does not let it.
Yeah, it does. So under sailor, that's what you take with a
Oh.
pirate variant.
Ah, okay. So I do just open sailor. Cool, thank you. I need to read, but you know,
It's okay.
I'm not going to read.
So, sailor, you get skill proficiencies in athletics and perception.
So that's what we talk about with these nice little squares here. We automatically get athletics and perception, and you'll see that the numbers hopped up from a 3 to a 5 and a 3 to a 5.
Because you're adding your proficiency bonus.
Yes.
Then we also get tool proficiencies, which goes down
Ooh.
underneath that bar.
Let's go back to sailor, please. Fine, I'll just click it again. Everything links to everything on this dang site.
It's like Wikipedia, just D&D.
So now that brings us down to these little boxes down at the bottom here for tool proficiencies.
Yep.
So we now become proficient in navigator's tools, as well as water vehicles.
So in Roll20, they have a nice little menu that lets you kind of just set a few things up beforehand. So we got navigator's tools. We are proficient. Jack of all trades and expertise are things that have to do with rogue and bard. So we're just gonna keep it at proficient. Oi, mouse, stop.
Once again, spirit bombs for making a new mouse.
Just close. Just shrink down, please. I'm begging you, mouse. You're embarrassing me.
We're doing a stream here.
Let's try this side. Hey, nope.
Maybe?
Maybe? Oh.
Come on.
And it's gonna go
Come
big again,
on.
isn't it? Because it hates me. Yeah, there it was. I'm gonna let go of the mouse for a second. Hi guys,
then
I'm the
watch
tech
everything
person.
unravel.
It's nice to meet you. I do tech.
Hey, someone's got you.
Just please roll 20. Is this because I insulted you? There you go.
We take it back.
I take it back. I love that
We didn't mean to
everything's
insult you.
connected on this site.
We just want to show Lunk to the world, that's all.
Okay, now that that's out of the way, because that was a long delay. Y'all saw my mouse. I was nowhere near that. Okay. So the attribute is what stat it would use to do that. So like a herbalism kit might use wisdom because medicine checks and such. I usually just go query attribute because the DM will probably just give you like what type of check they want you to do unless one is stated in the actual rules. And we just click a nice little thing here and then say the DM, you're like, hey, I want to use my navigation skills and my navigator's tool, my sextant and whatever other tools exist on my telescope. That's stars. What's the long one that pirates use that extends out? I don't know.
Isn't that a periscope?
Periscope, yes.
A telescope?
It is a
Periscope's on a
telescope?
submarine.
Okay.
Telescope is the...
Hey, you can have submarines in D&D too.
Yes.
That is true. We did
we
sink
burnt one.
Yep.
So yeah, and you click that, and then say for some reason the DM was like navigator's tool. That's strength. You can just.
You're using your navigator's tools to bludgeon somebody with
Yes.
to get information.
Yeah, I'm proficient in navigator's tools as a weapon. And then do the same thing with vehicles. There's no H in that part of the word. We're proficient, and again, I just do query. 'Tis up to you though, because I guess water vehicles specifically, there is a
Yes.
difference. Oh, cancel that. Just trying to.
But yeah,
So
just
just 'cause
having
you
the
can
query ability on Roll20 does help with sort of making it that it's not just one particular attribute. Is that you could be using these tools in a different way that your dungeon master might say, oh, okay, well, this is going to have this added to it instead. It offers some versatility.
Yeah. Okie dokie. And then we got some equipment here. The one sucky thing about typing these things in manually instead of using the character mancer is you have to type out all of your equipment yourself. So
Yes.
I will pull up what each of the pouches, depending on what we pick later. But each background comes with a set of background specific equipment that you get. So we just click that, and we have a belaying pin, whatever that means.
Effectively a club.
Aha. We have 50 feet of silk rope.
Fancy.
Fancy.
Ready for the bedroom.
Ooh.
Respect should have been a pirate. What is Lunk's lucky charm, guys? What are we gonna pick as Lunk's lucky charm?
That's a good question. Maybe we should ask chat to see what sort of thing
Yeah,
would
what's a
Lunk
lucky
have on their
charm?
person.
You can also click off of the trinkets table here. Actually, yeah, let's make use of a D100. Unless the chat has I'll give you guys a few minutes. If we can't think of anything, I'll roll a D100 and we'll pick something ranging
Something off
from
the
a
table.
mummified goblin hand to a crystal
Yeah.
that faints in the moonlight.
Yeah, because you never know what we might get from chat.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts.
And as you are deciding, I'm going to open up Sailor and another thing again. I should really start putting these ones in other windows so I can minimize them. One sec. Let's get that sorted first. Where's my wonderful other ones?
We got a call from Skelian saying we got to roll that D100.
Excuse me. Roll20.
You know, I thought I had Megan's address somewhere, and I can't find it, so I was going to order her a new mouse without her knowing, but I can't find her address.
I thought you were about to just tell everyone my address when you said that. I was like, Barrie, what the fuck? Part
No,
of my
I can't find your address. I'm looking. I thought I had it somewhere.
I mean, I can
Can't
afford a
find-
mouse. I guess I'll probably just wait until they come in at work. We're about to get all our back to school stuff, so there will be
Probably some
a lot
deals
of
there.
This is a
all I
window
can imagine
apparently.
is that Barry's getting this mouse and have to hire the Secret Service in order to drop it off. Non-clandestine operations busting on into your place. It's like, here you go, have a mouse. Sorry about the damage.
I mean, it was just going to be Amazon, so.
Oh, it's the trinket one that doesn't like to appear in this form. So we'll do this the old-fashioned way without making it in a different window. Okay, so we've been
Alright.
voted for the D100. So change this here. Rolling 1. What's it gonna be? 79. Of course it's at the bottom. We have an invitation to a party where a murder happened.
Ooh.
Fancy. And now I will get the sailor to work. There we go.
As a DM, that's great for like backstory stuff for personalizing the campaign too. So
And that's another
Exactly,
thing
yeah.
with this. Again, DMs and players communicate because maybe this is your starting equipment from your background, but again, you can specify things. You could be like, hey, like, would he have 50 feet of silk rope, or does the DM want you to have something else? I know Barrie in a lot of ours lets us all pick one magic item to have within reason.
just waiting to throw a deck of many at you guys
No.
Oh no.
because
I
you
think
know
that's
Mercy
maybe
would be pulling through that.
Oh man, maybe that's another thing for table flip. What would you do with a deck of many things?
Die.
Yes.
And then you also get a certain amount of gold at the beginning of it through your background.
Yes.
So we got 10 gold from this. And I will come back for features when we're at the features section, I think.
Yeah.
So minimize that. So that's... hold on. I need that again. So yeah, we got the skill proficiencies, which we put over here. Got tool proficiencies down here with our tools and our water cars. And our equipment. And that is technically the most important stuff of your background. Later on, we'll do the personalities. Oh, wait, we were doing the variant, though. So,
Yar.
you're doing pirate. So let's quickly check if pirate changes anything. You spent your youth under the sway of a dread pirate, a ruthless cutthroat who taught you how to survive in a world of sharks and savages. You've indulged in larceny on the high seas and sent more than one deserving soul to a briny grave. Fear and bloodshed are no strangers to you, and you've garnered a somewhat unsavory reputation in many a port town. If you decide that your sailing career involves piracy, you can choose the bad reputation feature instead of the ship's passage feature. Actually, you know what? Yeah, for the sake of being able to just close this later, like earlier than we want, you also get a feature from your background, which
Exactly.
are nice little things that you get from a variety of sources that are things your character can do. So in this one, technically you would have gotten ship's passage. We aren't doing that because we a pirate. We're gonna get the feature of bad reputation that we don't give a damn about. So that goes in here. Got it from our background.
Bad reputation.
And we got our source from pirate. And we will explain what
my bad reputation.
And we will explain what this means later on. I'm just going to copy it in there for now, so that way I can close this. And shrink that. That's a later. That's a surprise tool for later. Okay, back to skills, though. You also get... I don't need these open anymore, now that I think about it. There we go. I believe there's... Yeah, okay, that's more features. Alright, at this point, let's just close some of these windows.
Yeah, because we won't be needing them for the time being.
So earlier, we got up to speed. Up to speed.
E.
That's all at the top. That's all the same. And then you get specifically things that only tieflings can do, or that only dwarves can do.
Yes.
And you know what? We keep going back here, so I guess... Barrie or James, would you like to explain what features are to our wonderful, beautiful audience?
So features or feats are basically abilities tied to race, class, background that basically give you bonuses throughout the game. So tieflings. It's like, I don't know if the tiefling has a feature. Let me just pull it up on my book.
Page 43 for tieflings.
They
Thank
do.
you.
I got some here. I'm gonna also.
Dark vision for sure. So that basically means you can see in the dark.
Hold up. That's gonna be way too small for you guys to see. So I'm gonna fix this here. While you're explaining, I'm gonna get that back.
Yeah. So yeah, dark vision. Let's see here. Is the first one listed? Thanks to your infernal heritage, you have superior vision in the dark or dim conditions. You can see in dim light within 60 feet of you, as if it were bright light. In the darkness, and in the darkness as if it were dim light, you can't discern color in the darkness, only shades of gray to go along with that silk robe. You also have hellish resistance, which means you have resistance to fire damage. And then Infernal Legacy, which gives you the Thaumaturgy cantrip, just as a fun thing. And then when you reach level 3, you get Hellish Rebuke.
So this
and
is.
Then you're,
This is the one that will change the most throughout the game, excluding your little stats from the increases. Because every time you level, they add more features that get added to here. So your character sheet will end up being super, super long. And if you're using a paper one, chances are you'll be writing these on a separate piece of paper.
Yes.
And here is that wonderful copy-paste thing I was talking about.
Blammo.
So that way you guys don't have to... Also, on Roll20, the features have... if you click the name, it'll minimize it for you. You click this little gear, you can tweak it.
Yep.
Why is darkness underlined?
Oh.
And if you hit this, it will, if you just want to show off your features to your friends. Be like, I have dark vision and you don't because you're human. It'll just pop up here.
my modern tradition, just like making fun of Kenku because they can't fly.
I think those are shots fired there, Barrie.
Hey, my Kenku could fly by the end, so I'm not triggered by that anymore.
I'm not a monster.
You're not that guy. You're just...
It depends on what character I'm playing, Barrie. For some of them, you were.
No.
Wisp.
No. It's Mr. Superman is no home.
Just because you're a bad guy does not mean that you are a bad guy.
Bad guy.
Sorry, no speak player. Okay, I thought that you got skills from this, but evidently I was wrong. That I guess is not for tieflings.
That would be with the class features that you get with the proficiencies there for your skills.
Okay, thank you. And then also languages. So there's we have two types of proficiencies over here in this bottom corner, excluding all of our proficiencies up here. So there's two different types of proficiency technically. You have the one where it's affected. It affects your where you're adding your proficiency. That doesn't apply to language. It's not like, oh, I get a +2 to speaking English. It just means that you are proficient in doing this thing. So they're unrelated. So I believe that is why it is put under an entire second square, is that language and weapons and such down here at least, this just means you know how to do it. The actual numerical values are all up here.
Correct. It also tells you whether you can, wear heavy armor, or if you're proficient in a weapon, it actually gives you a bonus, the proficiency bonus to the attacks.
Yes. So language, that, and infernal. And we got that right there. Now we got our languages. And that, I think, is all we need from our background. From our race. That's the word. So yeah, by the end of going through the character one here, you will know what ability scores increase. So again, ours was charisma intelligence. You'll know what rate they age at. What age they're currently at is up to you. I've played all the way from 5 to like 1000, so your alignment, which we didn't do, but you can pick that here if you want. You'll know your size, your speed, and your features. So we can close this now. That's all you need from your race.
Mhm.
Which means now, since we're doing features anyways, I think we already did that. So I just have that open for the personality stuff. So now we go
For
back
show.
to Sorcerer.
Oh,
Back to the man. Okay, I gotta open that. I know the window was nice because I could minimize it, but it also is gonna disappear every time I click off it. So let's just get this again. Boop.
true.
I'm
The only
so
true alignment is
professional.
murder hobo.
Okay, so scrolling through this again. Da, 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 da. Make sure I'm not. So yeah, they do have on all of these, like on the wikis and the D&D Beyonds and the Roll20s, tips for like they explain what is a sorcerer, what's the difference between a sorcerer and a wizard. Like they're both magic people, aren't they? It's like no, actually, this sorcerer is different because this.
Exactly.
Which
Because they got their magic for nothing, and wizards had to work for it.
wizards are nerds, sorcerers were born with magical spoons in their mouth. Magical silver spoon, because daddy did it with a dragon.
Here I was gonna say maybe it's Maybelline.
I was gonna say maybe mommy did it with a dragon.
Yeah, I realized afterwards that if it was a female dragon, you probably would have been born as a dragon, but like it also depends. I don't know, like that whole genetic table thing you learn in middle school. Like I don't know. That was a while back. I was a physics kid.
Plus, all the thirst on TikTok is usually women thirsting over dragons. So
I don't know. Every time I've seen like the whole bard bangs the dragon thing, it's always been a dude.
oh yeah, but I'm not talking a bard. I'm talking about just
People in
women
general.
going, oh,
Ooh,
that dragon,
hot damn, dragons. Okay. Anyway.
Back away from thirsty people.
Yeah. But yeah, they will give tips on how to do it and like little rundowns of the classes. That's really long, so we won't go through that. But they will give you at least a bit of guidance.
Yes, and that can be helpful when you're just starting off, just even browsing through the player's handbook and just seeing if that really appeals to you as a character. And if you find one that you really are set on, then go for it.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're back down to class features. We've done our hit points. We're staying at level 1, so we don't have to worry about the hit points at higher levels yet. And now look at that. It's that word again. Proficiencies.
Oh,
So, as a sorcerer, we get no armor proficiencies.
no.
And for the sake of just making it so, did you forget to put it? No, I just don't have any. I'm going to put none in here. So that later down the road, it's not like, oh, wait a minute, do I have that? I gotta Google it. But we get a lot of
unfortunately,
weapons.
Lunk cannot wear anything that is, leather armor or wouldn't be proficient with leather armor. They would be basically wearing robes. But as a sorcerer, they really don't need to be wearing plate armor and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that is what the armor proficiency, as James just explained, determined. Oh, it's gonna cut that off, so I have to do these individually after all. Yeah, it would determine different armor sets have different benefits and weaknesses. For example, leather armor is really good for stealth, but it won't make your AC quite as high as, like, say, heavy armor, which is great for making it high AC, but you will be getting disadvantage on your stealth rolls because you're clanking around everywhere.
Yes, which you might see that Sabrak, he's made of metal, so he may not have the best sneaking skills possible.
But yeah, so that is armor proficiency is just going to tell you what kinds of armors you can wear. Now, I was gonna put them all in one go, so that way this thing isn't the length of a book, but it got cut off. So for weapons, generally there's a variety of types. Some of them do have specific ones, such as this, where it's, hey, you can do these weapons and daggers, or and darts. Some of them will just say, you can use martial weapons, or you can use melee weapons, which is basically the weapons in Dungeons and Dragons all have certain attributes to them. So if it has the melee or martial like attribute, or they are under that category, you're able to use it. Sorcerer doesn't use any of those though, so we're just gonna write down these specific ones. I don't know if either of you want to add on to that as I'm typing.
I would just probably, since you had mentioned simple and martial weapons, to make it, just to explain a little bit simpler, like your slings, your clubs, something that you could easily pick up anywhere of where you're traveling with your party. Martial weapons are more specific to, let's say, soldiers or armor or armies, or like long swords, great swords. So they have that nice little differentiation. Oh, yeah, can't even talk today.
Differentiation, yeah.
Thank you. But basically, it's split into groups. So,
And like many things with D&D, there's a table for that.
There is, yes. Is that one on here? Also, I did not know that that's how they determine the differentiation. Yeah, we got melee weapons. I am plugged directly in. What do you mean load?
why?
So the only melee weapon that exists is the spitting light of doom.
Spilling Boo Death, yes.
Yep.
There we
That is
go.
all that Lunk needs to have in this world.
That's items. That's not what we want. This is a lot more than melee weapons.
It's just a full
did
item
I click
list.
the wrong one? Okay, proficiency. Nope. Rules. Hey, there we go. So we got.
All the weapons.
So yeah, we got the simple melee weapons. We got simple ranged weapons. We got martial weapons. If you Google like weapons D&D 5e, these can also be found online, or you can get them in the books. I think Player's Handbook specifically for this list.
Yes.
I might be wrong. Okay. Martial ranged weapons. And this table will also tell you, like later on, we'll have to come back to this later on when we know what weapons we have to know how much damage they're going to be doing and what are those properties that I was talking about. How much do they weigh if your campaign does encumbrance and we aren't just we're all walking around like those old lady people in the labyrinth. Okay. But we got that. Our weapon proficiencies and our armor proficiencies have been added.
Excellent.
And we get no tool proficiencies. I'm not going to put none for that because technically we do have some tool proficiencies. They just didn't come from sorcerer. They tell you saving throws. So if you're doing this on paper and Roll20 didn't automatically checkmark those up here for you, you could that would be here and you'd see, okay, Constitution and Charisma. And now, earlier we were talking about how two people could play the exact same class and end up completely different. This is why. So under the skill section, it says choose 2 from these. Are we going to be Arcana and Deception? Are we going to be Intimidation and Religion? Who knows? We can either let the chat choose or just randomly think, but here's the options of what we get to pick from. We only get 2 of them, though, so it's going to be first come, first serve.
Yes, and keep in mind that if you were to have a class that has some overlap with your background, that can help you sort of figure out which ones you can pick from, because unfortunately you can't double dip.
Yeah, for example, if we don't, surprisingly, we don't have any overlap here, but say Perception was here, and we knew we're already getting Perception from the pirate background, we wouldn't pick that twice. So now we get to pick a different one here. So it's usually good to do your background one first, because that typically doesn't have a pick, it just gives you them. And then do this one afterwards once you know what you get. Now is the time to see if people are actually watching or lurking.
Chat, give us your insight.
I summon thee, chat. Tell us, what attributes does Lunk have?
Yes. Do they know of the Arcana? Are they deceptive? Do they know how to read people with insight? Or do they want to boss around people with some intimidation? Maybe they have a silver tongue to persuade others, or maybe they like to look into the more mysterious, mystical realm of religion.
I shall return.
And we shall see what chat brings forth.
Is he returning to go have a chat with not Barrie G?
I don't know. There might be a reckoning then.
Okay, I'm gonna give it like 15 more seconds, and then we just picking something.
All right, that is fair enough. Chat, you got probably 10 seconds now.
Yeah, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh no. James,
All right, I
do
guess
you want to
we're...
pick? I'm indecisive.
All right, well, I think we were kind of talking that Lunk here is kind of strong and, likes to have a little bit of, bossing people around, so maybe we'll make them have intimidation as one of their skills.
Okie dokie. I guess.
And considering being a pirate on the high seas, you might want to be knowing who you're sailing with, or if you might want to see what's going on once you hit the port towns, maybe some insight or deception.
Fair enough. We did say he knew a lot about living on the street and reading people thanks to that high wisdom, so. Okay, so that is our skill proficiencies.
Ooh.
Yay!
We're getting closer.
Next, we do our equipment, which means again some more. This is when I'm gonna have to look up what's in the different packs. So generally, you're gonna start with a few weapon choices, where it's you get this weapon or this. Hence the A this or B that. A this, B that. So we're a sorcerer. I don't think we necessarily need to have a long distance weapon. So I would say since we have spells to cover that, let's look up the simple weapons again. Did I minimize that or did I close it? I minimized it, didn't I?
I think you minimized it there.
Yeah, I did. Okay, time to look this up again. It was under this. I would ask the chat what weapon to pick, but I don't think they'll answer.
Oh, they're too shy.
Yeah. We do appreciate, even if you're lurking, that you are continuing to watch, though. So thank you guys.
Exactly. We love every minute that you're here with us.
So I don't know. When I think, okay, so we're doing a simple melee weapon, or just any simple weapon in general. So we got simple melee. Yeah. Okay, so all these up here. Let's see. Club, dagger, great club, hand axe. Okay, we also have to keep in mind of what we're proficient in, though.
Yes.
Because we aren't proficient in simple weapons. We're proficient in a lot of very specific. So
Yes,
I'd say quarterstaff is probably our best bet.
It's a good, solid choice.
So it's up to you. You can technically put quarterstaff down here if you want, or you could also put it up under your attacks section if you don't want to have more in your equipment than you'd liked. Oh. Heh. Okay, well, it did not like that. What? It does not like the word quarterstaff. I'm not pressing anything. I just finished typing, and it disappears.
Oh. The ghost of Roll20.
Enter it really quick. Hey, okay, it didn't. We're good. Okay, so that was weird. So for the sake
Yeah, I've never
of
seen that.
doing your weapons, it's now we get to see what all these are. So the cost is more so for the DM of like, I want to sell or I want to buy this weapon. What would it probably be at unless I'm getting cheated?
Exactly.
We are more paying attention to this side of the chart. So versatile means you can either use this with one hand or two hands. And it'll have different damage depending on what you're doing. So the base damage of one hand is 1d6 bludgeoning type damage. And if you're using two hands, that goes up to 1d8.
Yes.
Simple. I believe all weapons default to using strength unless it says finesse, in which case you could use your dex modifier instead. But we're going to keep this as strength here. There's no added bonuses to it because it's just a normal quarterstaff. We are proficient. The range of them of all weapons is around 5 feet unless stated otherwise here.
Mm-hmm.
No magic bonus. The crit range is basically it'll automatically do whatever you put as your crit damage if you roll a 20. There are certain things that will roll a crit on a 19, in which case you just change that to 19 and it will do that. Okay.
Precisely.
So the damage of a quarterstaff is 1d6 bludgeoning. So it's 1d6 plus strength because it's not a finesse weapon. Bludgeoning type damage. And on a crit, it would be 2d6 because it's going to be double damage when you roll a critical hit.
Exactly.
And then there's a specific way to set it for. Actually, I usually just do here one sec.
A secondary entry.
Yeah, for two-handed. So I'm gonna put versatile down there. Do that. Quarterstaff, two-hand. It did not. It likes the two-handed quarterstaff. We're good.
Excellent.
Again, 5 feet again. This time it's 1d8 plus strength. Bludgeoning. On a crit, it will be 2d8. Just because you use two hands, we're getting potentially 16 damage instead of 12.
Yep.
And again, I'll put the versatile in there just so people know. And there we go. It says our +5 is the strength modifier. And since we're proficient in the weapon, we're adding that 2 again. And that's how we get the +5 there. And it's going to be the damage we typed in. So 1d6 for one hand and 1d8 for two hand. Plus the strength modifier again. And when our proficiency bonus goes up, it will automatically increase that for you.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's
So
it
if you were
for
to
that.
click on one of those there, we can show people what it looked like on the interface then too.
Here we go. I want to smack that person with my quarterstaff, and you just click the name on here, and it will automatically roll for you. And you can even put your mouse over it to see what you rolled. So I rolled a 16, and then they added the 3 and the 2 for that +5 to attack right there, and it turned my 16 into a 21.
Yes.
And then if you wanted to know how much damage, you just click the name there. And whoa, I did 9 damage from rolling a 6, and then they added 3. That's the wonderful thing about Roll20 is they do a lot of things just automatically for you.
There's our strong pirate right there.
Yeah. Our pirate with, again, I'm so jealous, and the fact that this is gonna be on camera, like, y'all saw this.
It's true.
It's not like I rolled dice in the real world. You could see this.
It is too legit to quit.
Meanwhile, I rolled a 5 earlier.
It's okay. I have managed to roll stat scores of a 3 before.
Oof, ow. Oh, actually, yeah, that's, if your number is under 10, like, say, instead of a 17 here, we ended up with a 7.
Yep.
It's the same backwards, where it's, what you're under 10 divided by 2, and you get a negative to those scores. So if we had to do a strength save, it would be a -2 to our roll. So I rolled a 15 and it became a 13. I think that was 17, right? Yeah. There
Yes. So yes, even if you might get negative, like let's say modifiers to your ability checks, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're sure you may not get the same success, but that can open lots of opportunities for whether that's background stories or RP events that could happen. I should say role playing, not RP, just to make sure that I don't confuse people. But it can still offer opportunities. So don't treat negatives as a bad thing all the time. It may not be in the best interest, but it can still offer a lot of flavor to the game.
Yeah, imperfect characters create more unique campaigns. If everyone in D&D was super successful at everything they did all the time, the game would be pretty boring. And some people do just play for the sake of, hey, can we beat powerful bosses and the only thing that could make us suck is our dice rolls. But if you're doing like a more roleplay heavy campaign and you want to have, hey, maybe my character legitimately has noodle arms. I have a -5 to strength, so I will need someone to help me if there's a situation that demands strength from me. Then that would
Exactly.
create interesting roleplay in that scenario where it's my character can't lift this log that's fallen onto them, so I need help. Or you have to think of a more creative way to get out because your character legitimately wouldn't be strong enough. It creates more interesting scenarios. But again, it's D&D. Everyone can play as they want to. If you don't want to have bad stat, not even bad. If you don't want to have low stats, you don't need low stats. I mean, maybe ask if you rolled and you want to re-roll, talk to your DM about that because there is a certain thing of, hey, yeah, I just happened to roll 20s on everything. That might get a little sus, but
Yeah, we want to see proof of this then.
Yeah, it's like I can't trust you.
yeah, there needs to be a degree of trust in it.
I will extend
Precisely.
trust to you, but if you're doing this to me, it's very sus.
So then we got component pouch and arcane focus. Components, basically different spells have components in order to cast them, such as I want to cast message, so you need to have a component of a metal wire to do so. Or you can use an arcane focus, which is depending on what class you are, you have something that you can channel your magic through. You do not need components. Whether you use components or not depends on your DM. Some of them just go, yeah, you know what? I don't expect you to carry bat poop in your pocket constantly, so like, you don't need components.
Yeah,
But
the other thing is like it makes sense. Like if you're, okay, people want to spend their money on things. Okay, you have to go and buy these expensive components. So it gives it a little bit of more of a difficulty factor to it.
yeah, like right now, how I'm limiting my artificer in one of our campaigns lost the armor that he uses as an arcane focus, and I'm kind of limiting myself to what do I have from the items I've picked up, and limiting I can't use spells if I don't have the right armor piece for it. So like, again, you don't need to necessarily fully follow the rules. You can do things like that.
As Barbosa says, they need more guidelines. You see.
Then rules.
Okay, and this is when it gets fun. Of we get to type in a lot of items now, guys.
Ooh.
Yay! So there's a few different packs that you can start with. There's the Dungeoneers pack, Explorers pack. What are the other ones? There's a third one.
There's like burglars,
Burglar. Yeah.
diplomats, entertainers, a
There we go.
priest, a
Yeah.
scholar pack. So it's kind of like a nice little grab bag of things that tie within a certain theme and that your character can use throughout their adventures.
So we got the picks between a Dungeoneers pack and an Explorers pack. So the Explorers pack gives you. Let me just get. There we go. Gives you a backpack, a bedroll, a mess kit, tinderbox, 10 torches, 10 rations, a water skin, and hempen rope. Not as fancy as our silken stuff, but still very useful.
Still fine rope.
Meanwhile, the Dungeoneers pack comes with a backpack, a crowbar, a hammer, a python, whatever it is, a torch, tinderbox,
Piton, yes.
a piton, tinderbox, rations, water skin, hemp, and rope. So there is a bit of overlay between a lot of the packs, but obviously a crowbar, hammer, and a piton are different from a bedroll, a mess kit, and that's really the only thing.
Yeah, kind of.
So, what is our non-beanie sorcerer? What are they into? They more of a bedroll or a crowbar kind of person. Probably
You're
don't
a
do much.
sailor, so probably a bedroll over a crowbar.
Yeah,
Hmm.
don't need pitons if there's nothing to climb. So now, you guys want to entertain the group while I type these all into our equipment?
So, James, what are you doing this weekend?
Well, I know that I've got a lovely game of Acquisitions Incorporated I have to get prepared for my lovely D&D group. So, much like every other supplement for D&D, there's certain ones themed, and this one is based around an actual other Dungeons and Dragons group called Acquisitions Incorporated. If you want
Fantastic
to check them
show.
out, it's a lot of fun. So it's based within a somewhat similar universe where those characters who are part of that group are NPCs that my player characters get to interact with. And thus far, it has been quite interesting to see what they're up to in Phandalin, whether it's where Barrie has decided to become co-mayor towards the small sleepy town. We have our Warforged resident who's trying to find more of himself and has stumbled across another unit. We
Like most Warforged, they're looking for their past.
Yes, that is true. That is very true because a lot of people, including myself, as you have seen with Sabrak, is you don't have much of a past that you can remember. So it's like, oh, okay, well, I have a few memories and then go forward, or maybe perhaps another player's Warforged has all their past memories and trying to find something different. All up to you as the player. Use that imagination. But yeah, beyond that, definitely gonna try to chillax a little bit. I know that upcoming will be big Pokemon Go Fest within 2 weeks' time, so that will be a lot of fun.
Gotta love the Pogo. Yeah, and then we
Oh,
also got our Sunday game.
hmm.
So,
Yes, which I do hope to be part of for this round.
yeah, you've got a pirate captain, I'm assuming?
Yes, I have a pirate captain that I think you're going to be pulling a Gulliver from Animal Crossing is just washing ashore.
100%, yeah.
Excellent. I'm looking forward towards that. Yeah, I could definitely leave that in your court to sort of see what befell the fate of the crew of the vessel he was on, but that's kind of the idea I had for a Saladin.
Ooh, Saladin. Saladin, Saladin.
Not quite, but
And
we'll let the imagination go from there.
interject. Do you guys want to? One of you want to explain what the 2060 here is in range?
Sure. So with ranged weaponry, you might, as Megan has mentioned, that they'd have basically range increments there. So let's take, for instance, a dagger. You have a range of 20 to 60 there. So if you were to throw that weapon at someone there, effectively that first number, so the 20 feet, is the range that you can throw at him. And the second number, that 60, would be the longest range that you could possibly chuck it at. So when you're attacking beyond your normal range, you would have disadvantage on those attack rolls using it, and you can't hit anybody beyond there. So if, let's say, for instance, Lunk wanted to throw that dagger of theirs at someone who is 65 feet away, it wouldn't work. So you sort of have to, it's incremental, and of course, different weapons will have different ranges, sort of like for a longbow, you're going to have an incredibly long range for it, but you also have to play in the factors of, okay, well, what's the maximum, what's the minimum range that you can play around with those.
But yeah,
And if
that's
you're looking through other weapons, you might see, different properties that they're associated to. So, like ammunition, you got to have something to fire it off. So, you need arrows for bows, bolts for crossbows, stones for slings, stuff like that. Another thing you could possibly have is a like loading. Because of a crossbow, you need to take time in order to prep it. You aren't able to fire it right away. So
And that's it for equipment, though. I don't believe we get any other equipment from anything. But yeah, so you're gonna have to type out all of those ones yourself, or write them if you're doing this on paper or the old-fashioned way. But if you were using the Charactermancer, which if people are interested, we can also explain how to use that. It'll be a bit more straightforward than this because we aren't hopping back and forth like, oh, right, this. For example,
Yeah,
passive wisdom.
It's very streamlined. It's got everything like right there for you, right? So
Yeah. Also, yeah, we forgot passive wisdom, passive perception. That's basically, it's more for the DM of, hey, your group's just walking around and you aren't actively looking for something. Your character is more likely to, like, notice something just, like, oh, hey, as you're walking, because your passive perception is high enough, like a 15's high enough for you to notice that goblins are tracking you in the trees above. And it's just basically 10 plus whatever your perception modifier is.
you got it.
And I think that's the entire left side of the character sheet.
I would say so, yes.
We'll get to that in a second. Class resource is just a way to keep track of, like James said, if you had ammo, if you had arrows, you could just type. Wait, not there. Type arrows, and you know that you have 10 of them, and then when you fire, you go down, and it's like, oh, I missed, but I can pick up the arrow, it's 10 again. We don't have any, so I'm gonna get rid of that. But if you had something like my artificer has a thing where he can make a force field around himself, and I can only do that, I think, 3 times. So I'd be like, force shield, I have 3 of those out of 3. Out of 3. Why is it deleting everything today? And every time I use one, I go until I have 0. So this could really just be anything you want to keep track of.
Anything that helps managing your resources on your character sheet easier. The Roll20 character sheets, they're nice that you can add more sections to it if you need to.
Yeah. Now, we have spellcasting here. That's a different page, so I'm gonna come back to this.
Yes.
Let's get the first page done first. Okie dokie. So, let's, now that we've gotten all of this base stuff, this is the, hey, we don't care what level you are, you get all of this anyways. Now we get to go to this wonderful little table here. And, wait 10 minutes for the computer to catch up to the fact that I extended this.
All good.
Da-da-da-da-da. Come on. Aha, there we go. And I click again. I'm getting it. I'm learning. I'm learning the mouse, the new navigation on the mouse.
Yes, the sensitivity there.
So, we're doing a first level sorcerer, so we're focusing on this here. So, obviously this one is what level you are, proficiency bonus. We'll always start at 2. We don't have anything for the sorcery points, that's a second level thing, so we can ignore that. Then we have wonderful features, which is what's going over here. And these ones are related, you won't have these on a non-spellcasting table. This is only because we have a wonderful spellcasting sorcerer that we need to worry about spell slots and how many cantrips and spells you know. But this will tell you. So right now we're learning, we unlock the ability to cast spells and our sorceress origin.
Yes.
And that is what you get for a level 1 sorcerer, is those 2 features. So the spell casting we will do in a second because that's a whole other page. But for now, we are going to do our sorcerer's origin. And I'm sorry I can't zoom in closer on this one. If it's too small, let me know. I can read things. But let's see what we got the options for that. I know, Devin, I know you're busy playing Breath of the Waifu, but since this was You said you wanted to learn how to do sorcerer. I don't know if there was a specific sorceress origin that you were interested in. Sorceress
I think there's just Draconic Heritage and Wild Magic right now, isn't there?
Yep, just for the player's handbook.
But I mean, because it's on your... I don't know how many books you got on here.
Oh, Megan, I got the books.
That's
All the
why, I
books.
mean, we got Draconic, we got Wild, we got Storm, we got Divine, Shadows... what? We got more Storm. We got 2 times the Storm.
Double the store.
We are not lying. Call now, you get double the Storm sorcery for the price of 1. We don't even
All for the
sell
low price.
sorcery. We got the Aberrant Mind. We got
Crazy,
the...
fell off a truck.
And it still works just fine.
So, here's your options, everybody. Some of these involve more than others, but
Yes.
it's for the group. It's for the chat. Let us know. What
Yeah.
do you want to see?
You want
I'm
this?
guessing if, yeah, I was just about to say that if Elio the
There's
Twink
the wild
votes, they're
magic.
gonna say wild magic.
Whatever pathway could you pick?
I mean, I like Storm Sorcery personally, because I have a lot of like story background for that kind of stuff. And I don't think it fits with Lung here, but
This for me. You know me, I love gears.
yeah.
We got to that one puzzle in Tomb of Annihilation, and I was like, oh my god, giant gear rooms! They could kill us all, but it's cool! Okay, oh no, now I gotta pick. I gotta pick between mom and dad. Ah!
Oh, what do you do?
When did I become your mom?
when Ashley became my dad.
Let's face it, Ashley wears the pants. And, so.
Let's see, I'm more scared of Ashley than I am of you, so we'll do wild magic.
Well, then that should make me dad, shouldn't it? You're usually more afraid of your mom.
Okay. I'm most scared of Roll20 though. Can you please, please? You've shown that you're a scary sight and can make... anyways.
Make us cry.
Yes. Okay, sorcerer, wild magic. So, because we chose wild magic, we start off with a few features. So, your innate magic comes from the forces of chaos that underlie the order of creation. You might have endured exposure to raw magic, perhaps through a planar portal leading to Limbo, the elemental planes of the far realm. Perhaps you were blessed by a fey being or marked by a demon. Oh, please don't give Yalrith wild magic. Or your magic could be a fluke of your birth with no apparent cause. However it came to be, this magic churns within you, waiting for any outlet. So, at first level, we get the Wild Magic Surge. Starting when you choose this origin at first level, your spell casting can unleash surges of untamed magic. Which is fun for you, disastrous for everyone else. Once per turn, the DM can have you roll a d20 immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell of first level or higher. If you roll a 1, roll on the Wild Magic Surge table and create a magical effect. If that effect is a spell, it is too wild to be affected by your metamagic, and if it normally requires concentration, it does not require concentration in this case and lasts the full duration. So basically, every time you cast a spell as a wild magic sorcerer, there's a risk that just some random effect off of this table here, which ranges from bubbles out of your mouth to I cast fireball, can happen.
Yep. Oh yes, it adds a lot of flavor towards playing as a sorcerer.
So technically, you don't need to put this in. I guess, yeah, instead of putting this down here, I'm going to put the subclass of Wild Magic Sorcerer up here. There we go. We don't have a subrace, so we can close that. So now we got Wild Magic Sorcerer 1. Oh, I didn't put this in. Put the pirate background here.
Arr.
and we will pick alignment when we create the personality. Yes, you cast Fireball on yourself. It's not fun.
No.
But
not
now we
really.
will put the Wild Magic Surge over here under feature. It's a class. Sorcerer level 1. And instead of typing all that out, I just copy paste and we're done. Hey! And it's all right there. And then when you need to check, like, what does that mean again? You just click it and you got it.
Yep.
We also got the Tides of Chaos. Starting at the first level, you can manipulate the forces of chance and chaos to gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Once you do so, you must finish a long rest before you can use this feature again. 10 out of 10 would recommend if you wish to blow up yourself and a donkey. It's true! I was there!
Can confirm.
Anytime before you regain the use of this feature, the DM can have you roll the Wild Magic Surge table immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell at first level. You then regain the use of this feature. So I guess that means that if you rolled a 1 and you rolled on the table, you get this back?
Yeah.
Nice! Just plop that in there. 'Tis a class. Sorcerer level 1. And we close it. And now, as we scroll down, you will notice that the next one doesn't happen until 6th level. So we don't gotta care about any of this stuff.
But if you keep playing the game with perhaps your own sorcerer, you might be able to see more things
Yes.
further on in the player's handbook.
Yes, once you are playing as Lunk, you will be leveling up, in which case once you reach the 6th level, you come back here and you go, now I have Bend Luck, and you add it in here. And once you reach 14th, I got Controlled Chaos, you add it in here. You don't have to, you don't gotta memorize it. You don't have to be like, I gotta write down what we get on every single one of them. We can just go to that wonderful little table up here.
It does help though to know your stuff too.
Yeah.
So you don't get analysis paralysis every time it's your turn. You know, like, oh god, what do I do now?
Oh no, I meant like you don't have to memorize this whole table to be like, I'm at level 4, that means I get this. I'm at level 5, so I need to put down this. You can just come and check this this table here. But yeah, when you're playing, you want to know what your character can do at that point. I feel bad for my friend that might be joining us on Sunday because he's jumping in at level 9, having never played before.
It's okay. We got it's a newbie friendly community though, so
yeah.
Exactly.
We're trying to get my cousin to join our Sunday game, so.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah. So right now this is all we got, and then once we reach the 2nd level, so like when I said we don't have to worry about anything till level 6, that was just for specifically the sorceress, like the wild magic. Obviously, as a sorcerer, we will be getting other things outside of our subclass. You will get font of magic, meta magic, you get to increase your ability, etc., etc. So just use this table, it will tell you when, like even here, it says sorceress origin feature, which means, oh, I gotta go check the wild magic sorcerer. And yeah, so just follow this nice, wonderful, handy little chart. But that is it for level 1 for features, so I'm gonna close this. Oh, wait, before I close this. Examples of the wild magic.
Yes, let's talk about a few of those, shall we?
Come on, Roll20. Roll20, you're a wonderful site. I would really love it if you could just... There we go. I just had
also
this.
Going to mention this for people who might have missed it. If you give us a follow, we'll give you a follow. Follow for a follow right now. We're trying to hit affiliate.
Yeah, we are 10 away. Maybe 9? 9 now?
Let's see. Let's take a look. It looks like we are at 40 still. So
40 okay, yeah. So Lindsay was the 40th. So yeah, we need 10 more followers within the next around 2 weeks. I think it's either 13. It might be 13 days now.
13 days. Yeah.
We have 13 days to reach 50 followers, so that way we get affiliate. So if your friends need a follow, I will not even you don't even need to follow when we're streaming. I've been checking whenever I get an email about someone following us, I go and I immediately follow it on the Dice Chasers channel. Well, unless I'm at work, in which case I do it after work. But yeah, right now, if your friends need followers, tell them to follow us. You don't even got to watch the videos. We'd like it if you watch the videos, but
You'd be more than happy to return the favor in
yes,
kind.
Exactly. Yeah, for example, though, with Wild Magic, I'm like, oh, haha, I'm a sorcerer. I cast a spell, and then I accidentally rolled a 1, and now I gotta do this random, unpredictable thing that Megan would hate. I rolled a 93, which means after I cast that spell, I increase. Honey, I blew up the kids.
Quite literally.
Yep, you increase to up in one size, and for like the next minutes, you are just gigantic.
So Monk is even thicker than before.
At 24. Now, oh, okay, what's gonna happen here? I suddenly turn blue. And it does not go away until someone uses a remove curse spell. So have fun being blue until that happens. And as a person whose character is currently cursed, remove curse spells don't come in often unless you have a cleric in your team that has that spell.
True story.
So yeah, that is the joys. You might also just get all your sorcery points back, or you just have a nice music around you. Like you can take an extra action. My brain's my eyes are jumping to all the good ones. You cast grease on yourself, and you just now the ground around you is slippery, and you have to try to not fall. Like it is very random. There we go.
Yes,
Yeah,
but that adds
7 to 8. You cast
flavor.
Fireball centered on yourself, which for our wonderful little 9 HP Lunk, you're dead.
Yes, try to avoid that if at all possible.
And yes, this is true. I'm avoiding the trauma of Argon. It's because my name is not named after a reactive, very like a very reactive element that is unpredictable. Megan is not on the periodic table. Neither is Lunk. Okie dokie. I think that's everything but spells.
Yeah, I guess if we're still focused on the front page here, some of our viewers might see in the top right corner where we're looking at like traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. One thing that you might notice when looking through your backgrounds is that there are certain tables that you can either roll the dice on to sort of see what outcomes they are, or even taking a look through them, they might just say, hey, I like this one, I will apply it to the character. So you can have two ways to go about it. You can either use the background of your character to sort of say, okay, well, I like this, pick that, or roll randomly. Or if you know the character that you would like to play as is, you can just insert those into those fields, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to be held back by saying, oh, well, the background I'm playing is a sailor, so I can't have, this personality trait that says I have to be the XYZ. It's exactly just that. Um, they're a great way to have suggestions to help you make your character. They aren't, well, this is how it has to be and that it always will be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about customizing the whole game for yourself, right? So.
Because yeah, as someone who doesn't the books exist in my house, but they're in a different room, so I usually just Google things because I'm lazy. So yeah, you have the ones, as I said, you have the background ones. If you Google, or I guess I use Ecosia. They plant trees when you search. If you just look up like
Hey.
D&D personality traits or D&D bonds and look for Weird Zine and click that, they have compiled into a PDF every single personality trait from every background into a nice little all-together thing. So you can just kind of scroll through and be like, yeah, Lunk, he's a flattering. So they are a flattering person. I still got the cool guy McGee in my head. They are a flattering person, or they blow up at the slightest insult. Like, you don't even have to, I don't even know what backgrounds these come from. A few of them definitely are, you can tell what background they are based on I'm haunted by the memories of war. I can't get the images of violence out of my mind. Probably comes from the soldier or the haunted one background.
Yes.
But yeah, I like going through that on Weird Zine, and you can just go and find all of them, or you can come up with your own as well. But I'm gonna close that. This is for simple things, so let's just go off. Let's just roll for this.
Sure.
Oh, goodbye,
Let's see.
Elio. Try not
Let's
to
see
get
what
shot at
Lunk
by
has.
goblins this time.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Where the heck did the dice roller go? It's time to live up to our name of chasing the dice. There we go.
Hey.
Roll credits.
Nice.
Alright, so let's see the chat.
Mission
So
accomplished.
we can see what we're rolling. And let's roll a d8. A 5. This is so chaotic right now. I will organize this. To me, a tavern brawl is a nice way to get to know a new city. So, Lunk tends to get into fights. A lot, which probably explains why they're so strong, despite being a sorcerer. I don't know, I personally like to do 2 of every one of these.
Yeah, just to see.
So let's find that dice roller again. Bwah.
Oh,
Really likes them.
gets
Really
into
likes them
fights.
taverns. There we go. My language is as foul as an otyug nest. Otyug.
Oh,
Otyug.
Otyug.
Got the
Those are pretty nasty.
got the mouth of a sailor too.
Yeah.
And then we got personality traits are just things like that. They're personality traits. Ideals are what your character's values and ideals are. So it's, hey, in this situation, I'm not sure what they would do, but if my value is freedom, I'm more likely to want to free the prisoners in this prison that we're in instead of just myself. Or
Exactly.
I value mastery, so I see we're fighting an opponent, and that opponent is very much I need to get stronger. You'd probably respect that person.
But Naruto.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I need to get stronger.
So we value aspiration. Someday, I'll own my own ship and chart my own destiny.
Oh,
Maybe
ambitious.
perhaps, and since this is going random as you're going, it could be okay, so, excuse me, Roll20. It's okay, so maybe the reason that they get into so many tavern brawls is they will, they're trying to challenge people and, to get their ships. Hey, if I can beat you in a fight, I own your ship now.
Exactly.
So, oh yeah, and just hit the little gear and it'll automatically minimize. It'll close the edit. Let's see what else. Boop. A 4. There's that mastery. So, they're all about getting better and being better than everybody. I am a predator, and the other ships on the sea are my prey.
Ooh.
So maybe they actually just like getting into fights because they think everyone else are scrubs.
Oh, also just to, throw their weight around saying, it's hey, this is my sea. You're in it now.
Out of the way, this is my patch.
I like how I rolled D8 despite the fact that there was only 6.
D6.
I lucked out. So let's roll the
Ooh,
proper
dodge.
one for Bond.
Dodge that bullet.
5. I was cheated out of my fair share of the profits, and I want to get my due. Ooh,
Oh, so we're really getting an interesting character with just these random rolls.
So you got cheated out of a thing in the past, and we never want that to happen again. So we need to ensure we are stronger and better than everyone, so that way one day you're the one with everything.
Yeah.
Jeez, Lunk is like an end boss.
Yeah. This reminds me of our
Two.
favorite Captain Trask from Jin's game.
The ship is most important. Crewmates and captains come and go. So we're a really bad captain too, but I'm guessing our crew's all too afraid to leave us, or they respect the strength that we have.
Yeah.
Because you could literally crush their heads like
Yeah,
sparrows' eggs
yeah.
between thighs.
See, I
Yes.
know what we're doing is wrong, but I cannot defy Captain Lunk because he'd probably stab me, and I would thank him for it. Thank
They
them.
would.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
Was that one on TikTok right now? It's glory, glory. What a hell of a way to go. Hell of a way to die.
What a price
I
to pay.
apologize to any non-beanie viewers. In the real world, I 100% I'm good with pronouns, but again, my brain just has cool guy McGee in my head.
Still stuck in
So, also you can ask the players here. Sonia's an exception. I play about 99% dudes. So
I would confirm that.
You and my wife both.
Yep. Okay. Once someone questions my courage, I never back down, no matter how dangerous the situation. That is one of the flaws. So if someone says, we're Marty McFlying this. If someone challenges challenges Lunk, calls them a chicken, they will throw hands.
Yes,
And
they will go ham on them.
we will definitely throw hands. 6. My pride will probably lead to my destruction. These
like
all
we've made the
lined up
perfect
really
character.
well. We didn't get to have like one potential we threw in a nice little like maybe they're all about respect. So like I will throw hands, but I'll respect my opponent. It's no, I'm the strongest. I get everything. I'm in charge, and screw all you guys. I like the boat more than you.
Wow.
Lunk
I am
is
actually
coming for
quite
you.
impressed. I am
So-
quite impressed with this
See,
result.
this is almost like a Edward Teach type pirate.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Blackbeard.
So I would say this means we're probably chaotic evil.
Alignment doesn't make it really, truly, let's be honest.
Yeah, that one's out of everything that is more of a guideline on this sheet. This is the most like a guideline.
Yeah, like alignment is very difficult to nail down. Like even in the book, pages 122, it does list each of the 9 different possibilities you have from lawful good to chaotic evil, and it just gives you like a framework that you could pick from, but it's not black. It's not black and white. It's kind of gray. Character can act in many different ways, and even if you could be, lawful good, you might do something that is considered, less honorable. It's difficult in the easiest of ways.
I know the best description I've found of them is lawful is you follow like you're more likely to follow a code.
Correct.
Be it like the law or like if lawful good was probably they follow the laws that exist in the world. Neutral good
You can
is
follow your own personal laws as well.
yeah. That's you follow your own laws, like the actual laws. I find the chaotic and neutral ones are more so the personal ones. It's how I see it usually played. But yeah, so lawful is you follow a code of some sort. Neutral is it depends on the situation. And chaotic is what was it? Yeah, like you don't follow any rules. It is how you feel at the moment. And for
I'm gonna disappear again here, guys.
Okay, and for good, neutral, evil, this is the one that there's been a lot of debate. Like, chaotic evil doesn't necessarily mean you gotta be the mustache twirling, ties girls to train tracks villain. I find people described it as good is you're more likely to do things for the sake of others or the greater good. Neutral, again, depends on the situation. And evil is that you will put yourself first. is
And
how
that's
it
a
was
good way to
described.
put it.
Yeah. Like, I had a character from the campaign that preceded Dice Chasers, who was chaotic evil, because she 100% would do things for herself and not care about the party. That didn't necessarily mean she was actively antagonizing the party, so long as like their goals were aligned. She entirely got along with them, and she was nice to them for the most part, other than her ego.
Eh.
But it was I was also entirely prepared to throw the party under the bus for the sake of power that was promised to me by the big bad. I mean, I
Yes,
messed it up,
and-
but
Eh.
it was entirely like she's not actively like, you know what, I woke up today and decided to make my party suffer. It's no, she just entirely, this will benefit me, and I don't care how it'll affect others. So like, chaotic
Yeah.
evil doesn't mean you gotta be evil mustache villain.
No, definitely not. It's just this is a general picture, but it doesn't mean that you're always stuck within that frame of mind.
But yeah, I believe that is everything on this first page, which means we would then swap to spells, unless anybody in the chat, we got 11 people watching. Does anyone have questions about any of the parts specifically? I'll give people a minute to ask if you need things further described or explained, or if you're like, wait, hold on, I wasn't here at the beginning. Why is there a check mark next to Constitution?
Yes. Yes, anything that you may be interested to know, whether it's just as a quick refresher, or if you're someone new to D&D and you're looking at this character sheet, it's like, whoa, what is all this stuff? Throw it in the chats. Let us know.
No need to be embarrassed. Everyone starts somewhere, or even if you've been playing for a while and you're like, oh, wait, hold on, what does passive perception mean? Because I remember I was the one that I told Barrie about what that meant. Because I was like reading up on all the rules when I joined in, and he's like, yeah, no, we don't really use passive perception. And then later on, I was like, oh, passive perception's actually this, and now he uses it. And then today, when I found out what the difference between martial and melee weapons were, there's always room to learn. No such thing as a dumb question. Okay,
Yes,
so
especially when you have like a rule book that is like 300 plus pages. It's impossible to keep all that stuff in your noggin.
yep, there's a reason we're always saying that. Just take a look. It's in a book because we got to check the player's handbook so often. There's too much to remember.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you could do that, it'd be like kudos to you.
Okay, so
Uh,
Misty KM's got no questions. I'll give it just a little bit longer, I guess.
Sure.
Oh, we lost 2 viewers in that. Also, yes, we're as Barrie G1, and I'm sure not Barrie G1 will also have something to say on this. We are
Yes.
currently doing a follow for follow. Tell your friends if they need followers. We're trying to get 10 more follows within the next 13 days. So that way we can reach affiliate. It's the only thing that we are currently missing. So we would really appreciate as many followers as we can get, but I will settle for 10.
Hey,
And yeah,
10's that magical number. We will definitely be happy to do follow for follow as mentioned.
yeah. As soon as if it pops up in the activity feed, I immediately go and I click follow back. So that's happening until we reach 50, and then probably after 50 as well, just because y'all are cool people. But it's for sure happening right now as a motivation.
For realsies.
So now we have finished page 1. Seems to be no other questions, so we will continue. Now you might
Sure.
notice this up here. This right here is from the advantage toggle. Every single character sheet, we got nice little settings on the gear. In this top right corner, it will always roll advantage by default. If you want to turn that off, you go here, you click that, and you switch it to advantage toggle, and then you just gotta press up here to say what you were currently doing. So that is what those are. Obviously, that's not going to be on a paper character sheet. That's just a Roll20 thing.
Exactly.
Bio. Bio is where you say, who is your character really? What do they look like? Who are their friends? You cannot see, but I'm doing the, like, the flappy hand, fancy hand movements. So you can describe your character's appearance here if you don't have art of them, though you can also, under bio and info, post pictures of it. I'll get to that afterwards, considering this is a Roll20 specific one.
Yes.
But yeah, you can also describe it. So, Lunk has, I don't know if chat wants to shout appearances at me, or I'll give y'all a moment as I continue describing if you want to describe to me what you think Lunk looks like. Our nice non-beanie pirate individual who loves to fight.
Yeah, loves to fight, wants to prove that they're the toughest thing in the 7 seas.
They want to be the very best. And I'm not going to continue that. So we
Yes, we do not want to be copy strike ran up because we're just too good.
Also because I only know the first 2 lines of that song. Hey. Allies and organizations.
Sacrilege.
So I'm sorry I didn't have the channel with Pokemon on it as a kid.
We'll have to remedy this. Watch the Pokemon movie.
So we got Lunk. Sorry, I should say Lunk's.
Yes, short person. I like this.
Excellent.
I find as a vertically vertically challenged person myself that hasn't grown since the 6th grade. We are full of rage and we do want to fight everybody. So
heckin' yeah.
Lunk is a short individual. Say what, 4'9"? Oh, they are actually a tiefling. They are a tiefling.
This is like the Danny DeVito tiefling.
I'm a trash man. I come in, I start throwing garbage, and then I start a fight with everyone in the tavern.
And anyways, I stop blasting.
Blasting fireballs, that is, with our wild magic. Let's say they are a 4'5" tiefling. A 4'5".
I think Mystic M may have joined us a little bit later in the stream. But yes, definitely Danny DeVito tiefling.
I approve this message.
They have a rounder stature. I guess more stout. Is a stout
yes.
stort. They are a stout, short individual.
Megan, I'm going to pay you to draw this.
I hope you know I'm just gonna badly Photoshop horns onto Danny DeVito and change the skin to blue. But I guess you don't need to look you don't need to look androgynous to be non-beanie. So I can just draw Danny DeVito.
Yes,
and that is what they will look like.
Oh man, that's perfect.
Danny DeVito, but with what kind of horns do we have, guys? Are they short? Are they fancy ram horns? Do they go straight up?
We can't go like the satyr from Hercules. That's too much, I think.
True. Yeah.
So what do you think, Mystic M? Do you think like curly ram horns? Do you think like gazelle horns?
Are they like corkscrew and they use them to open up wine bottles?
That's very extra.
Straight up. With foot tall, it's like 1 foot tall horns that go straight up. Those are the best types of tiefling horns. Those and those like super curly, like they're big on the front and they kind of round out and get like thinner. That I like those ones. I have a tiefling I just drew that has those kinds of horns. I don't believe they were wearing any sort of armor, so they wear
tunics and breeches.
I guess what color tiefling? What color tiefling do we got? I guess the Dice Chaser name down here turned out to be red, so we could have a nice jeweled tiefling. Shirtless and just pants.
Yes, they are a pirate after all.
Yes, so
maybe pants are optional.
They have red, I guess a ruby red skin, and wear pantaloons.
Excellent.
Typically, they will not be wearing a shirt.
Maybe that's our Danny DeVito tiefling's beef with the world, is always needing to wear a shirt whenever they have to go into port.
It's the whole... When they first started out, every time they got into a fight, they would take the shirt off, and then they just realized, I should just not wear it.
Yep.
Keep losing these shirts.
They ripped the shirt open every time, but the shirt budget quickly ran out.
Yes.
Is part of the... what should this pirate crew be called?
Oh.
You say they have their captain. Their captain Lunk is red, so maybe it's the Kruby Ruby.
Oh.
Part of the Kruby Ruby, and is the captain of the crew. But they don't
Captain,
own the
my
ship,
captain.
despite being the captain. They don't own the ship yet. They are trying to track down the person who has the deed to it.
Ooh, yeah, this is a good. I like this.
And anyone who has a deed to a ship, whether it looks anything like what they were told this captain looked like, they will fight them to get the deed. And they will also just fight you if you look at them funny, or if you seem strong and like a challenge, or if they feel intimidated by being near you. They will fight. They are always looking for a reason to fight.
Always looking to brawl.
Additional features and traits, if you didn't want to put them all in here, you could put it there. I know some people put their background feature there because it's not used too often. We've been kind of describing Lunk's backstory, but I'm lazy. I'm not going to type it all out.
I was just gonna say, maybe one of the taglines for Lunk might be "Always be scuffling, ABS abs."
Every day I'm scuffling.
Scuffle.
If you get treasures along the way, you can put them in here, and that's... We got ages, height, we did 4'5". Not 5'5", that's with the horn. 4'5" without the horn.
Yes.
Weight, eyes, skin was ruby red.
Mhm.
Guess brown hair if we're doing the DeVito look.
Yep.
Short brown hair. Size was medium. Age. What age is Danny DeVito, guys? My brain's saying 40s, but I feel like he's older at this point.
I think he's in his 60s, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Time for a quick Google search.
Let's just go 58 for our a nice in the 60.
Danny DeVito. Apparently, he is 76 years old.
76 years old
Jesus.
now.
Yep.
Okay,
born in
well, chat
1944.
suggested 60, so we got Danny DeVito in more of a prime.
And
Yes.
the prime sailing.
Ruby red. Let's do yellow/orange. The eyes are always on fire because they always want to be fighting.
Hey.
Reddish.
Like it.
Orange. Weight. I'll be honest. I'm really bad with weights, so I don't know what a 4'5" roly-poly-oly stout individual would be weight-wise. So I will leave that
Made
be.
of muscle.
You know what? Lunk doesn't care. Danny DeVito does not care. Okay, I gotta change this name to Danny DeVito now.
Lunk DeFito.
Yes.
Danny DeVito.
Is his war cry?
So Danny DeVito
Amazing.
is they don't care about their weight. Weight is just a number. If they can beat you, then they are better. Who cares what their weight is?
Much true.
And now we get to spells. So I don't
So
know what
many
the sorcerer
spells.
spells are, so let me pull this up. When people picked sorcerer, I explained I've never played a sorcerer, so. Oh, what? What do you mean we don't have that? There were sorcerer spells before this book came out. Gotta
What?
look up.
Oh, We're having some interesting issues with Roll20.
Sorcerer
No, you need the Guildmasters to Ravnica now.
spell.
What? But we have this player's handbook.
No.
You must buy this.
Oh, spell list.
This
List down at the
supplement.
bottom. By name or by level? I guess let's go by level. Because we
That
only
level will be
got
easier.
the... Okay, so now we get to go back to the short interlude to change our name to Danny DeFito and figure out who Danny DeFito is.
Yes.
We don't need the sailor anymore, but we do need the sorcerer sheet that it closed when I tried to get spells.
I'm having a very hard time keeping in the laughter from the name change. To be honest.
Look, Danny DeFito is going to be a character popping up in my games now, I think, because this is just too good.
With these stats?
Hell yeah.
Heckin' yeah.
Am I into the wrong one? I am. There we go.
Try and stop me.
Okay. Our wonderful thing here. Okay, so we got the sorcerer table. Now we're looking on this side. So at level 1, we know 4 cantrips and 2 level 1 spells. And we have 2 spell slots. So cantrips, unless does someone else want to take over for this, or should I just explain it?
Go for it.
Okay. Cantrips are spells that basically they don't take any spell slots. Every single spell casting class in Dungeons and Dragons has a certain amount of spell slots, not spells.
Megan, you're drunk.
I am drunk. No, I'm not. Last time I got drunk, I got super sick, so I'm not drinking again for a while. So, spell slots, the amount of spell slots you have shows how many spells you're capable of casting. Thank you. If we got these Wikidot as what I was going to be using earlier, because I don't have access to these on my normal account. I'm mooching off of Barrie's account right now. I use Wikidot for all my spells too. So link in chat. Unless you're watching this on YouTube, in which case please Google.
Yes.
So yeah, if you have 2 spell slots at level 1, that means you can cast spells 2 times.
Yes.
Unless that spell is a cantrip. Cantrips, you have unlimited use of. You can cast cantrips as much as you dang please. The official rules say the cantrip is an action. When we play, we have cantrips as a bonus action. So you could technically cast 2 cantrips on your turn. Yeah, so right now, Danny DeFito has 4 cantrips and 2 level 1 spells. So, let's see. Let's figure out what kind of spells, what kind of cantrips Danny DeFito has. Yeah, 4 of them.
Plus thaumaturgy from racial trait.
Ah, yes. Mm-hmm. Now, because we're putting in this manually, I can't just magically click it and put it in. So, do we have thaumaturgy here? It's alphabetical. Yeah, okay, I can. Hey, that makes it easier. So when filling in spells, you just click it, and it will. Click that first little empty spot, and it'll open up this nice little menu here. In which case, now we are going to start. So we type in thaumaturgy. It is a transmutation spell. So you click this little menu. The casting time is 1 action. It has a range of 30 feet. There's no target on this, so I'll just leave that blank. If I put this down, does it tell me? There we go. It's the big one.
Yes.
So it is only verbal. So this VSM here stands for verbal. I think is it semantics?
Yep, somatic.
Somatic.
Somatic. Okay, yeah, because semantics is words. So I was like, is it? So somatics. So verbal is you have to say the spell name, or you have to say something verbally. Somatics is hand movements. So if, say, your character, their hands were bound and they cannot move their hands, you would not be able to cast that spell because you need to be able to move your hands. At DM's discretion. Or say, for example, with verbal, if you... Say Danny DeVito rolled on the wild magic table and could now every time they open their mouth, bubbles come out, you aren't going to be able to say a verbal spell because it's just going to be bubbles. Or if you're underwater or bound... if you're gagged, you cannot speak. You cannot do that. M is material components, where some spells require you to have an item to cast it. We don't play with material components, though it can be a fun roleplay thing. I know if you watched Critical Role, Liam's wizard would always have the components, so he would literally go, I reach into my pocket and I pull out some bat dung and I rub it on my hands to cast this spell. But Thaumaturgy only uses verbal, so we only need that. It is not a concentration, I believe. So, and the duration.
Yes, but Thaumaturgy is racial, so.
Yeah, and it's up to 1 minute for the effect.
With the tiefling as the racial, that they get that the first level.
Yeah, and since we are a sorcerer, I believe charisma is our spellcasting.
Correct.
And I know it's not an attack, but for the sake of having it, when you set a spell to an attack, it automatically comes here. So for me, I like to set every single spell as an attack on here. So that way it will pop up over here, and you don't have to go to your spell page to remember what spells you have. So we can do all of this. We're going to be going through a lot of spells. So I'm going to just copy and paste this. We don't need to describe Thaumaturgy. If you want to know what spells do, go check out the link that Elio the Twink sent. Hey, that rhymed. that was really satisfying. Include the spell description on. There's no damage from Thaumaturgy. So that is it. And you just click this little gear, and it will become a nice, pretty version here. And if you want to close that, just hit the I and it will minimize it. And now when we click it on our character sheet, either through here... Oh. There we go.
The link was spelled perfect.
That's amazing.
A inspiration. I can't even give it. I'm a player and we aren't even playing. But that is an example of DM giving inspiration. In fact, since you named Danny DeVito, we're going to give Danny DeVito inspiration.
Yeah.
I like how Cool Guy McGee has just gone through like several name changes. You know, they're still getting into the non-beanie feel of it. They're testing out some names. Okay, so that's Thaumaturgy. We start that off. That does not count towards the 4 cantrips that we know, though. Oh, we did explain inspiration earlier, but since there are new people here, inspiration's basically if the DM liked something that you did, they can give you inspiration. Or maybe you did a cool roleplay, or like basically, yeah, the DM gets to pick what requirements there are for inspiration. And if you want to use your inspiration, it lets you re-roll something. Like, I believe it's any roll, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so inspiration just lets you basically go, oh, wait, no, I don't want that nat 1. I rolled to hit with my... Let's go until I get a bad roll. There we go.
There you go.
I rolled a nat 1. I didn't want to do that. I'm like, oh, crap. Barry's going to make me toss my quarterstaff around the room. I'm going to use my inspiration to re-roll, and now it's an 11.
So you're not quite disarmed. It's just, you might whiff.
Yeah, it might not hit, but at least it's not a nat 1 now. Oh, yeah, with Elio in the chat. When there is more spells than you know what to do with, then yeah, it's probably best to keep it on this page. But I also, my character sheet from our Artificer, spells and attacks goes down to, here. Because I don't like switching between tabs. I am lazy. I will do a bunch of stuff at the beginning, so that way I can be as lazy as possible for the rest of things. Also, quick question for the people watching, because on my screen it is a jumbled pixel mess. Is the size for the chat on the screen big enough that you guys can read it? I should have asked that earlier, but I didn't. Just out of curiosity. Because that, I had to change that numerically. Oh my god, it's not letting me scroll up. Maybe it's my computer. I should probably just, like, reset my computer after this stream.
Get rid of some of the
Because I'm
bugs.
trying to read through all the things that just popped up. And it scrolled to the top of the chat, so give me 1 second. You know, I see that someone said yes, so I'm assuming that it's a yes for everyone.
I know Mystic M mentioned that they were watching the stream on their phone, so it might be different on different devices.
Sonia has glasses, but she doesn't need glasses, so I'm assuming it makes her vision a little blurry. Okay, so time to pick Danny DeVito's spells. We got Acid Splash. We get 4 of, you can see down on the left, it says if it's a cantrip. All the way down, there's a lot of cantrips. Holy cow. Jeez.
Oh,
There
yeah,
we go.
there's a lot.
All the way down
There's
to
a
Absorb Elements. So we get 4 of these. Wait, don't we also get Vicious Mockery for being a tiefling?
No.
Hellish
no,
Rebuke.
that's
That's
Hellish
much later.
Rebuke. That is what it is. Yeah, I'm like, there's something that it's you verbally hurt somebody, or they like hurt you and you hurt them back. Okay.
Yes, that's a future possible feature that Danny DeVito will have.
Yes. Those aren't all sorcerer spells.
Well, prestidigitation is always a good one.
Yes.
Down to the P's. Hey, prestidigitation. Now, time to put this in here. Yeah, okay, I'm also gonna... Yeah, let's do the wiki.
It does work for the Character Mancer, though.
Yeah, on the Character Mancer, we got it. It will limit it to what you can get. Here, I'll do prestidigitation, and then I'm going to open the wiki. It is a transmutation. Casting time. 1 action. And basically, yeah, I mean, like, we don't necessarily have to go through every single spell here, considering this is just explaining how to make them. But yeah, so again, you got prestidigitation, you go, what's the range on that? You type in 10 feet. There's no target. This one's no material, but you do need to move your hands and speak. Let's just copy all that. You can clean stuff, and you can heat up tiny waters and such. You can make tiny symbols appear, etc., etc. 'Tis not concentration, so we don't need to click this. Duration is up to 1 hour. Also, if you are picky about it, you want to put a space between duration here, because otherwise it's just gonna have like duration then immediately what you typed in. So if you want to have that nice little space, you're gonna want to put that there.
Yes, that is definitely handy.
I got its charisma, and again, I'm gonna just do an attack. Here, we'll do 1 offensive spell for the sake of showing damages. So let's...
Like Firebolt or something.
Yeah, let's do Firebolt. They seem like a Firebolt kind of person. That's F. That should be going up.
At that fiery Danny DeVito personality.
2 Firebolts. What?
So anyways, I start blasting.
Where's the difference? Where's the difference? Oh, okay, yeah. Ashley, you and I think alike, because I didn't even see that in the chat, and then I said the thing. Okay, so Firebolt. Firebolt, it does damage! So So, type in the Firebolt. This is the same as before. We got Firebolt. It's an evocation, which means we're evoking stuff. I think that's how words work. Casting time.
Heckin' yeah.
One actione. What? There we go. The range. 120 feet, which means he can start blasting up to 120 feet. This one's no materials, but you gotta move your mouth and your hands. Don't take that out of context. Duration.
Gotta work the shaft.
I have to put some sensors in there. at
It's
that
live.
point.
We can't. Oh no.
Oh
When I'm
boy.
editing, I can censor things, but so instantaneous basically means like it doesn't have a lasting effect. It's you cast it and then it's done.
Yes.
Spell casting would be charisma. Also, we didn't
yeah.
explain up here. So, I was excited to pick spells, so I didn't explain things. So, different spellcasters have different spellcasting abilities, which is basically on this first page. These wonderful numbers here. I don't know why it zoomed out. Oh, right, because I had to open and close it. Our wonderful ability scores here. They will take from different sources, and this number will also determine how much damage your spells do, how high an enemy has to roll to succeed on something with a saving throw. So obviously I don't believe there's any strength spellcasters or dex spellcasters or con spellcasters. I cast Firebolt, and by that I mean I turn my fist on, like I set my fist on fire and I punch you in the face.
So One Punch Man?
Yes. Wizards use intelligence. Some spells do use strength?
Like a
Oh,
strength
that's
saving
just
throw.
for saving throws. I
Ah,
just think
yeah.
as a
Yeah, I
spellcasting
don't-
modifier.
Yeah, I think it's just intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Because intelligence is for wizards
Correct.
and artificers.
Yeah.
Wisdom I know is for clerics, and I think there was one more that I haven't played.
Druids use
Druid,
that.
yep, that's...
And do you know how you get it?
No?
8 plus proficiency plus spellcasting modifier.
Hey.
Yeah.
And that will be on... Oh, right. It's... Where'd it go? Where's my sorcerer page? Professional. Hey, there we go. This part that we scrolled through earlier when it said spellcasting. Now let's go read it. Even though Barrie already said it. But I am a player and therefore I ignore everything the DM says. So they have a short little blurb explaining how your class gets their magic. So an event in your past or the life of a parent or ancestor left an indelible mark on you, infusing you with arcane magic. This font of magic, whatever its origin, which ours is wild, fuels your spells. See casting a spell for the general rules of spellcasting and sorcerer spells by level for the sorcerer's spell list. So we got all these down here. So, cantrips, as they say, we start off with 4 cantrips of our choice from the sorcerer's spell list, which is apparently behind a paywall now. You learn additional... Sorry, I was reading the chat. You learn additional sorcerer cantrips of your choice at higher levels, as shown on that wonderful table that we were looking at before. Spell slots. The sorcerer's table shows how many spell slots you have to cast your sorcerer spells of first level and higher. To cast one of these sorcerer spells, you must expend a slot of the spell's level or higher. So, to cast a level 1 spell, you have to spend a level 1 spell slot. So if you started off with those 2 that we had, and you cast a spell, you now have 1. If you cast a second, you now have 0. But you can get them back after a long rest.
The fish with hands.
that Danny DeFito is a tiefling, it should be a red herring tiefling.
That's a Katoa right there. That's a Katoa. That's for sure.
A Katoa warlock right there.
Oh yeah, and there are spells that you can cast at a higher spell slot, and it would state that in the information that if you cast this with a level 2 slot, it'll do this much damage instead of this much. So spells known of first level and higher. A helmet. It's not even like an actual helmet because they can't wear armor. It's legitimately they killed a big fish and they're wearing its head on
Wears
theirs.
head.
with
Oh.
It's like
with their
Monster
face.
with the wiggler head.
Except the Danny DeVito face is just
Just
coming out of the mouth.
Sticking out of the mouth.
Oh god.
Why does that make me think of Zant? Ooh,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Zant, because he did the giant fish thing.
yeah.
So-
Okay. Okay, you know, 2 first level spells of your choice from the spell list. The spell slots, so say basically check the spell table, so the sorcerer table to know how many you have. And yeah, when you level up, you can replace one of these spells that you have with a new one if you're like, wow, I took this spell and I never use it, so let's replace that. They got 4 eyes. You can stare into all of them and you will see death. So Charisma is our spellcasting ability for our sorcerer spells, since the power of your magic relies on your ability to project your will into the world. So yeah, that's a better way to describe Charisma. It's your willpower. You can use your Charisma whenever a spell refers to your spellcasting ability. In addition, you use your Charisma modifier when setting the saving throw for a sorcerer spell you cast and when making an attack roll with 1. So yeah, the spell save DC, as Barrie said, is 8 plus proficiency bonus, which is currently 2, plus our charisma modifier, which is a big ol' whopping 5. So we're gonna have a really high spell save DC for a level 1 character. Currently, excuse me, Roll20. Currently, let's do a compilation of every time Roll20 screwed me over here. So currently it's 15, so 8 plus the 5 plus the 2. So it's 15, 8 plus the 5 plus the 2. I think I said 18.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, 15 I heard.
spell attack modifier is our proficiency bonus plus our charisma modifier. So these laughing so hard. Hey, that's the best kind of laughing, as long as like they know that you aren't crying. Yeah, so spell save DC is basically if there's a spell that has a saving throw. I like how I have the 2 DMs here, but I've basically gone like, no, I'm explaining everything now.
Go for it, you know?
So spell
Turn the
save
spotlight
DC
now.
is if there is a spell that has a saving throw, they have to roll higher than this to succeed, and if they don't, they have failed, and effects will depend on the spell. The spell attack bonus is say we were casting Firebolt, it would be what we rolled plus 7 in order to hit the opponent. So it's basically like the attack where we were adding our strength to it. That will be we are adding our charisma. So it'll be proficiency bonus or a nice 2 plus charisma, which gives us this 7.
Yes.
We have our arcane focus for our spells, and we already did our origin of magic, which was wild magic. We haven't figured out how Danny DeVito got their wild magic. If maybe they punched a mermaid and they said, "Hey, guess what? Now when you cast magic, bad stuff's gonna happen. Screw you, Danny DeVito."
A curse.
I
Ooh, I
support
like it.
this canon backstory. Mermaid punching.
You're like, "Give me the deed to my ship." Punch. Like, why would I have the deed to your ship? You know what? You're cursed now.
Consequences.
When will you learn that your actions have consequences? Okay, now back to making spells. Now we did that short little detour, and I'm gonna close sorcerer, and then need to go back to that again. And I had 2 open. Gonna close sorcerer again. And
Oh, these swords for tabs.
A reverse mermaid. They wear the mermaid's head. Oh god.
Oh.
It's not a fish head, it's a mermaid tail, and they put googly eyes on it.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right, this has to happen.
Danny DeVito is truly the most powerful character in all of D&D.
The big bad of Dice Chasers shall be Danny DeVito.
I'll find a way to introduce a pirate into this landlocked campaign.
Oh my lord.
Okay.
We're glad you tuned in as well.
I will say the actual games are about this chaotic as well when we play, so every second Tuesday, tune in for more shenanigans.
Yes.
Other than like the one time where we got kind of serious, which like, yeah. But everything else has been chaotic. Been throwing dirt in people's mouths, etc. So let's get the Y in there. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in here. We did the range 120. Tis not concentration and is instantaneous. Charisma is a spellcasting ability. So I'm gonna cut this out for a second and put it at high levels. So for Firebolt, you hurl a mote of fire at a creature or object within range, with that range being 120 feet. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 1d10 fire damage, and a flammable object hit by this spell will ignite if it isn't being worn or carried. Now, the spell's damage increases by 1d10 when you reach the 5th level, and the 11th level and the 17th level. So like later on when you're at that level in the game, you can go back and change the values that I'm about to put in. So, lots of Hunter X Dice Chasers crossover. I mean, we did have in the last episode when we used our pocket vigils to lead us around. It was like using I've only watched Monster Hunter. I don't know what the things are called, but the little bugs that make you.
Yep, they finally use the tracks for what you're looking for.
But yeah, so so far we've been using not attacky spells, so they would default to spell card spells. I made them attack so that they'd show up on our main page, but this one is actually an attack. So we're gonna click attack here, and then we get this whole extra little thing here. So spell attack is a ranged spell, and the damage, as it said here, is 1d10 fire damage. So you type in 1d10, and you have to make sure you put it in this form, because that is what the website is looking for when they're doing all their stuff. So it's got to be 1d10. And it is fire damage.
Fire.
So type fire. There's no secondary damage on this. It does not heal. And this one, again, if it did heal, like, I don't know if sorcerers have...
Cleansing fire.
Is there any healing things here?
Yeah, there are.
I guess these wouldn't be cantrips. That would be a level 1 spell. So scroll down to that.
Correct.
So I'll do... Where are you? Cure Wounds? I'll do Cure Wounds after to show a healing. And then we'll do something with the saving throw. I guess this one has a... Nope, that's a spell attack. So yeah. We have 1d10 fire damage. That does not apply. That's new. I've never noticed that before. It might not be new. I just might not have noticed it. But there's no saving throw. Higher level cast damage won't happen until we are at... Even then, that's just you can go and change it because it's a permanent change. And let's include the spell description, so that way when you cast it, the DM doesn't have to remember everything. They can just go, what does that spell do again? And they can read it.
Yeah.
And then you click the little gear, and we got all our information here.
If fire cleanses all.
We're gonna make a fire-built pirate.
Pirate? It's a dangerous prospect, as Talon well knows.
In the air and on the sea.
And on...
Okay, so now I know we get 3 more
safe.
cantrips, but we don't got time to unpack all that. So
Just want to show you the good stuff.
and as I'm typing out the information, I don't know if either of y'all want to remind people of the follow for follow promotion going on. As I
For sure, yeah. Anyone who's going to be following us, we're making our way towards affiliate status. We're 10 follows away last time I checked. So if you're following us, we'd be more than happy to follow back. Basically, You're doing us a favor, we'll do you a favor, and then yeah, helping each other out, getting to wherever we need to be in the Twitch community.
I don't know. I didn't type fast enough. Ah.
I should have paced out for more emphasis then.
Also, I'm not gonna like, scroll through to find spells with it, but yeah, if it's a concentration spell, just click this, and it will make a nice little C next to it, along with the verbal somatic tag over here. And if it's a ritual, just click that, and it'll have a nice little R. If you have both, it's RC. Actually, hold on. If you do that the other way, is it CR? Nah, dang.
Nah, it won't be.
Boo. Oh
Missed
no, I can't say
opportunity.
CR anyways. That's Critical Role. We'll get sued. Matt Mercer's coming
Uh-oh.
for us.
Matt
Throwing his
Mercer, if you'd
poodle
like to
at you.
follow us.
Alright, so Cure Wounds. Just select that and put that there. And since this is when you have higher level cast, we'll put it at higher levels. And then you click this, and we'll switch it to an attack, because we are going to attack with healing energy.
Ah!
So it will be. Where is the thing? Here we go. So spell attack is not a melee. Healing will be
His heels.
1d8, and again, you have to put it in that format because that's what it's looking for. And then it says here plus your spellcasting ability modifier. So you just click this right here, and it will add that to it. If there's like a specific, it's like 1d8 plus 2. Just put that in there, and it will do that.
Yep.
But we don't have to do that. It's just our spellcasting thing. There's no saving throw to healing. I doubt people are going to want to reject healing. Unless they are like undead and healing them hurts them. I don't know. Higher level.
Random. As a random thing from an older edition in D&D like 3.5, you could actually refuse healing and use a wisdom save to negate it.
So higher level cast damage would be 1d8 per level, so I believe I filled that in right.
Yeah, it should be the 1 and then the d8 afterwards.
Yeah. And you hit done, and that's how you heal. So like, I'll do an example of what these spells will be looking like. So I'm like, I cast Thaumaturgy. Big description. There's no actual damage, so it's just gonna come in empty here. Firebolt. Firebolt.
Whoops.
How do you miss?
I missed on the first one, but Danny DeFito doesn't miss, so
No.
as it will automatically roll it for you with a d20, and then add all the necessary modifiers, and it's like, oh wow, a 21 hit. You just hit boop, and then it'll roll the damage for you too.
Yep.
And then Cure Wounds that say what level are you casting it at. Currently we can only do level 1, so we click that, and it will heal 8 damage for the person. But say you wanted to cast it at a higher level, it'll add that. So 1d8 plus 5 plus the 1d6 plus 5. That I might not have done that right. One sec. I personally just redo the spell at higher slots when I do this, if I'm typing it in manually. Yeah, so 1d. Oh, okay, no, it did. It wasn't a d6, so that was correct.
Yep, because it had the
Yeah, it was I rolled
like
a,
if you
rolled a
rolled
6
over.
plus 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought it was a d6 and that it just put in 6. Ooh. The chat's been going, but I can't scroll up, so I can only ever see the like end of things that I missed. But yeah, so that's what the healing looks like. The want to heal at like 9th level. Think of all the. Ooh, yeah.
All the healing,
All the
all the fire
heals.
spells.
All the burnination. Chalkdoor would be proud.
The healing energy. Okay, now I need something with a saving throw. I think Entangle has one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So let's, Entangle is Conjuration. Okay, while I'm typing all this, chat, what are your favorite spells to use? Not necessarily Sorcerer, just in general.
Yes. Or if you might not know what spells are in the handbooks or stuff, it's things that you might consider that you might see a sorcerer or a spellcaster would use them. Because it looks like we got all the fire spells coming from Mystic M.
Oh, and also, this Concentration. Just boop. You hit that, and it's good. Like we said. Up to 1 minute. This one's not even a sorcerer spell, but it's just for the sake of showing a saving throw.
Yes, just so that way you can see how it looks.
I was too lazy to go and type in and find the wiki. Let's copy that, put that in there. Nice. Okay, so 20 foot. So range, sometimes if you want, if it's got like an area of effect, you can just put in brackets like 20-foot square.
Hey, how about that mansion spell there, James?
Oh, you mean our secure shelter, huh? Liam's secured hut. I think that might have to be when we have another episode on Table Flip when we're talking about interesting moments, because some people may have seen when me and the cast with Barrie, Ashley, and Megan that you guys kind of emphasized that point quite a bit.
And yeah,
And for good reason.
turning it wild shape is pretty fun, yeah.
And the best part is, technically, it's not even a spell, so like, you get to keep your spell slots. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Though I think there are spells that can give you like beast abilities.
Primal Savagery.
Yeah, that one, and then there's a few artificer ones I know that you can get, like the eyes of a bird, or like the strength of a bear, or like
Yeah,
you sprout
enhanceability.
claws. Yeah, enhanceability, that's what it was. And polymorph, yeah. Creature restrained by the plants can use blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's an attack technically, even though it doesn't do damage. And we got saving throw. So they have to make a strength saving throw, and then so the effect on one sec, strength saving throw. And if they make it, don't get entangled, I guess. It's a long thing, so you can abbreviate.
Don't get stuck.
I believe that's all I need for this. That, yeah, and then so you hit entangled, and it'll say make a strength save, with a spell with I didn't do charisma. Oh, I was like, that's too low. So yeah, make sure you say what the spell is being cast with, so that way we get the right DC here. And I'm gonna close this because that's all the types of all the types of spells I can think of.
All the types of smells that we need here.
It smells like dead fish, and I'm pretty sure it's Danny DeVito. And I think that is everything as far as I'm aware. Yes. We did the Kruby Ruby, we did the appearance. We didn't put backstory in, but we all know their backstory in our hearts.
Exactly.
We don't cast spells, we can't smells. That's why we got prestidigitation.
Heckin' yeah.
And yeah, you got your spells here. You got a whole bunch of stuff here that you can, like, hey, I need to increase my strength modifier because, like, the DM said I get a little bonus. You can put that here. If you have specifically like an arcane fighter or an arcane rogue, or if you have halfling luck, you can just click here and it'll put it in. modifiers to different attributes, what your hit dice is. You can multi-class here by just doing that, and it'll automatically put in some of the stuff that you get for level 1 there. You can make a custom class. Again, modifiers to your skill saves, and if you have expertise through being a rogue, you can change that here, and it'll put it in, or as well as jack of all trades, and etc. etc. Passive perception, death save modifier. Basically, yeah, this is where you can just explore and see all of the little things. And again, every time you make a new character sheet on Roll20, I cannot stress this enough, click this little gear and change it to advantage toggle, because otherwise you're always going to be rolling at advantage, which as a player, cool. As a DM, I don't think they would appreciate their players non-stop rolling advantage on everything. You can also set it to that person being an NPC. Set it to auto roll damage, but like I don't suggest doing that, because if you roll really good damage on something that doesn't hit, you're gonna be sad.
Yes.
And yeah, you can adjust proficiency bonus, like the automatic things there. You can adjust your crit range. So like if you're a barbarian and you're like, hey, I get crits on 19, you don't have to go individually into every single weapon. You can just go like that, and now crit on 19s and 20s.
There's a lot of tweaking here on this section that can really help out with whether you're progressing your character or if you just need to make on-the-spot changes.
And then I'm not going to do this because it'll erase everything, but you can also go and hit here to use the Character Mancer, which if people are interested in seeing how that one works, it'll be a lot faster because we aren't going and typing everything in. We can show you how to create a character in the Character Mancer in a different stream. And then when you're leveling up on the Character Mancer, you'd use the second one here. And we'll do something that's not a sorcerer, so that way we can show other varieties. But yeah, that's Danny DeFito. That's how to make your very own Danny DeFito. Thank you for tuning in to our Let's Play.
Our Let's Play.
This is
our how-to.
This is a recipe to create a Danny DeFito. So when I was younger, my mom used to take us to the beach every Sunday, and you have to listen to me rant about this for an hour before you get the recipe for Danny DeFito.
God, yeah, that's stupid.
Technically, you can also go in here to do more modifying things. I'd leave this as it is. You don't need to mess with this. Character sheet, you can do your bio and info. We're in GM mode, so it looks a little different, but for the most part, it's the same. Like this part won't be in a player one. But you can upload pictures.
If you go to that little...
Oh god, y'all are gonna see things.
The
I'm
back
trying
end.
to think like the weirdest, like where I can go where it won't spoil future episodes. One sec. Danny DeFito. We have no fish. We have no fish. You know what? Let's do this one from the art stream. That'll load in a second. It's deleted now because it's old, and I didn't save that one. But this is this is requested on the art stream. And you can type in your backstory here, bio, information, notes. The GM gets extra notes. If you have tokens set up, you can set the default token here. We don't have any tokens. I mean, I got this one, but that's... There you go. So you click that. You select a token. Danny DeFito is now this lady priest here. Because the first one that came up when I was looking up tokens.
Blam.
And then you save changes. And now under bio, we will have this. And I think if we set it... Oh, there's Danny DeFito here. Danny DeFito. Now it should be when we... Yeah, it'll automatically do the picture down there because we set it up here.
Yeah.
And yeah, and if I had typed backstory stuff, it would appear next to it here. And that's how you make a character sheet manually on Roll20.
You have been informed.
Oh, I guess also you can increase and decrease your spell slots. So if we cast Cure Wounds, we use the spell slot, make it go down. Don't forget. Sometimes I forget, and then I'm like, oh, wait, how many spells did I do?
All the spells.
Monty Python-esque.
The fish dance, yes. That's one of my favorite.
Yay, learning! That's what we're here for. Everyone, no matter how long you've been playing, there's always more to learn in this game, especially since they keep
100%.
making books.
Keep putting out books. Books.
Yeah.
So many books.
Not
enough time.
Let's close that. And so when you're making a character sheet as a DM, you go into here and you click add and you do character. If you're doing it as a player, the DM has to make one, create one for you and then make it available to be edited. So then you'd find it in your journal again. It would just be up at the top, and you just do exactly what we just did. So it's just like add character, put in the name, oi hoi minoi up here, and
fill in everything you need.
And it just pop up, and then you just wait. We go here, and then yeah, we did edit sheet directly. And again, if people are interested, let us know. We can do one about using the Charactermancer. If you can't let us know during streams, we are on Facebook, and you can always feel free to make a post in the group or comment on a post so we can see it, saying, hey guys, could you do a tutorial on how to do this? And we will see if we can schedule a time to do it.
100%.
The Facebook page is there for communication and announcing streams. So like,
yes,
and NPC contests.
And yes, the NPC contest, which
don't forget about
I don't handle that. That's between the DM and Ashley. So I don't even know if we picked a winner yet for the other one. But I'm just here to edit and do tech stuff, and I'm not great at the tech stuff. So
You're better than the rest of us.
we're making it work. This is Hollywood magic right here.
Was this Barrie? None of this was here when I started the game, so I'm assuming you came in here, Barrie, and added this stuff.
Actually, I did that today, actually.
Yeah, I came in, I was like, that's new, and I saw the right up in the corner, might as well be Comic Sans. Do they have Comic Sans on here? No, boo.
No, they don't.
But
boo.
Like I said, I did that around noon today, actually.
What is Goblin 1? Crimson Tech. These are all they have really cool names.
Cool names, but
there we go. It's Table Flip.
Yeah.
Movie magic.
Also, Ashley, it's not like there's a rush for the character contest anyways. Those of you that haven't watched, we film and edit our streams in advance so that way they can be as quick in we don't want to waste time, so we cut out all the empty bits and the silences and such. So we got about 7 episodes before, or it's probably about 5 at this point, before any characters from the contest will even show up. Full disclosure.
That doesn't mean that you can't stop submitting them, because we need NPCs.
Yes, we will as soon as we've reached the point. They will be there. There might be a wait, but your NPCs, the winners, will be in the campaign. We promise.
More meat for the grinder. Bones for the bone throne. Blood for the blood god.
Rocks fall. Everyone's NPCs die.
Oh.
And
Oh,
then
sad.
we slowly pan the camera up, and we see a solitary pirate ship at the top of the mountain. Danny DeVito stands on the front, another boulder in hand, and he laughs.
A true villain.
Yes, I agree. Big
How
bad
he got his
evil
boat
guy.
on the top of the mountain? We blame the wild magic, but some say he carried it up there himself. So they carried it
Probably
up
did.
there, they them like themselves. Now I'm just picturing Danny DeVito now. So, oh yeah, we made where'd he go? Oh, it's because I got this. Get out of here. We want
What
Danny
happened?
DeVito. We entirely chaotic eviled. But yeah, that's the stream.
Danny DeVito.
We've been going at it for
Almost 4 hours.
Yeah, almost 4 hours. So we're probably gonna call it. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Our next stream, I can't open it because it'll open up on the screen. I don't want you guys to see my secret stuff. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, the next stream is on Wednesday next week. So the 14th. We are doing the second Meet the Cast stream with the players for Sabrax, so James here. We got
Hello.
Yalrith, so Mercy, and Josh, who plays Jin. And I will be there too, but I'm not going to be answering questions this time. I did that the first time. I'm just there to record. I'm a glorified video camera that can also make jokes.
Ask some questions.
So yeah, that will be at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We will also post a reminder on the Facebook page on the 14th. Come and meet the other half of our player group, and we will just talk about our experiences in D&D and like play styles and stuff about ourselves and just all around fun hangout chats.
Exactly. We'd love to have you come join us for that, and also let your friends know. As we've mentioned before, we're doing a follow for follow. We're on the roadmap towards getting 50, towards being affiliates. So, if anyone else out there that you know likes D&D or anything D&D related, come on over to Dice Chasers. If you give us a follow, we'll follow you back.
Or if you just like our goofy antics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you like D&D, if you don't want to watch the D&D stream at all and you just want to hang out on these ones, that's also fine. But you won't know if we're doing this unless you follow. So,
Yeah.
but we are always up for meeting new people. Danny DeVito would not have existed if Misty KM didn't come in. So like,
Mad
So-
props right there.
Mad props for creating Danny DeVito.
So yeah. Invite your friends, invite your family, invite your mom. We will try to behave ourselves if your mom's in the chat. Exactly. Smash that follow
Smash that
button. Smash your computer and then buy a new one because I need to smash mine because it was messing up Roll20 all day. Audience, don't smash your computers. You need those or your phones to watch our streams.
Yeah.
Don't worry, if I smash my computer, the actual stream's fine. It's on a hard drive. It's an external hard drive. But I
Yes.
accidentally
Backups.
fell off the shelf at one point and pulled out of the
Too
computer.
late.
Oh no. We do not. I'll cut that from the thing. We didn't tell you to do that. We are not legally liable to anyone who smashed their
liable.
computer there.
We
It was.
don't. We don't have the liability to cover all
Oh
these
no.
smash computers.
End the stream. End the
Stupid
stream.
computers. Pull out. Pull out.
Okay. Okay. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
See you on Wednesday, hopefully. See
Yeah,
ya.
we look
This has
forward to it.
been
Take
Table
care.
Flip. Bye.
Bye.